The Jets and the Kings are coming up next. We invite you for Kings hockey, which follows immediately.
If you want to be a winner, you got to have the tools. Sports and business is all the same. You got to know your opponent, and you got to know yourself. You got to train properly, you got to get your rest, and you better know what you're putting in your body.
New Power Burst. Not just a thirst quencher, but an advanced performance sports drink.
Why not be a winner?
And the Winnipeg Jets. The officials for tonight's game. The referee is Terry Gregson and the linesman Mike Civic, along with Jerry Pateman. The Jets will set up and defend to our left with 25-year-old goaltender Bob Essenza on the year. 17 wins, 9 losses, and 5 ties. Excellent average. 3.25. He is 2-0 this year against the Kings. The Kings will defend to our right, and Mario Goslin gets a start on the year for the Kings. 7-9-1, average 3.79. But for the Kings, this will be Mario's first start since February 17th, when he beat the Quebec Nordiques here at home 7-1. So Goose is getting loose between his goal pipes here for the first period. The Kings and the Jets as the Kings wrap up the home portion of the regular season. First period, here's Bob.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. Kings moving from our right to our left. Here's Mike Kruzhelnicki across the line. Left side, fakes a shot, goes down the left wing corner. He gets checked there. The puck comes back behind the Winnipeg net and around the left side to Teppo Numminen. Numminen trying to clear it out, held in by Bob Kudelski of the Kings. Drives it right back behind the net again, and Bob Essenza sends it around the boards. Numminen with it for the Winnipeg Jets. Pass up to center ice, comes all the way down into the Kings zone. There was going to be an icing, but then the goaltender Goslin came out to play it. His pass around the right wing boards. McDermott with it there. He gets checked, and the puck comes down into the corner to Brent Ashton. Ashton can't hang on. Puck taken by the Kings, and Kruzhelnicki clears it out to center. Chased down on the right side by Kudelski, tipped away from him, and an offside called against the Kings at the Winnipeg line. Well, a little new decoration out here on the ice, the Stanley Cup logo for this season, the 1990 Stanley Cup Championships.
Playoffs begin in 6 days. The Kings in Calgary in the first round of the Smythe. The Jets will play the Edmonton Oilers. Tom Webster. Again, we'll get a look at some of the youngsters that have been recalled in the recent days because of various injuries and ailments, and everybody is really performing well, so coaching staff, Bob, may have some options come playoff time.
Well, I'm sure they will, especially in goal. Who's going to start? Goslin's been successful. There's an offside against Winnipeg at the King line. Successful against Calgary, and Rudy coming back. Luc Robitaille looking for that 50th goal. Nick, he had a couple chances the other night.
Well, if he gets 50 goals, it'll be the second time in his 4-year career that he will have done it. He had a breakaway. He was alone in front on a power play. He will lead all left wingers in scoring for the 3rd straight year, Luc Robitaille.
Now at center ice, here's Dale Howard-Chuck. His pass taken away by Robitaille. Across the line, but an offside. And a slow whistle there by Mike Civic, and the shot by Robitaille was up over the net. So the faceoff will be outside the Winnipeg blue line again. Dale Howard-Chuck didn't play the other night, and he's having the worst year of his career, and yet still not a bad year.
No, he's averaging a point a game, 9 assists in the 6 games against the Kings this year. And he had 5 assists in the March 4th game at Winnipeg. Howard-Chuck with 80 points. Not getting the ice time he did earlier in his career, I should say before this year, with the arrival of Bob Murdoch as the coach. Murdoch going basically with 4 lines.
Now Robitaille into forecheck, gets knocked down back behind the Winnipeg net, and the Jets clear it out to center ice. Here's Peter Praisler over to get it for the Kings. We have no score here in the first period. Pass ahead to Scott Bjugstad, now to Todd Ellick. Ellick across the line with Robitaille, but his poke checked away. Ellick was trying to get it to Robitaille, and the Jets with it. Here's Dale Howard-Chuck. Across the King line, poke checked off his stick. Ellick goes for it, and Todd Ellick with it. He starts back up to his own blue line. Here's Todd Ellick. Good-looking rookie for the Kings. Comes across the line, gives it in the middle. Duchesne shoots, and a save by Essenza. Rebound and a save by Essenza as it bounced right toward him off of Bjugstad coming down the right side. Now the puck taken by the Jets and not cleared. Held in by Contos with a drive and a save by Bob Essenza. So the Kings with some good opportunities there, but Essenza makes the stop. And the Winnipeg Jets with it now. Pass in deep, broken up by Brian Benning right in front of the King net. Kings will bring it to center. Here's Thomas Sandstrom to Chris Contos. Contos drives it down into Tony Granato in the Winnipeg zone. Granato checked there. Contos in to get it. He gets it to Sandstrom. Sandstrom back to Contos along the right wing boards. Winnipeg zone. And the Kings Sandstrom comes in to pick it up. His pass comes back behind the net around the left side. Tony Granato over to get it. Granato sends it behind the net to Sandstrom. Now a shot from the left side by Contos from a steep angle. Stop is made. Kings trying to hold it in, but the bouncing puck is poked by Mark Kumpel out to center ice.
Chris Contos replacing Gretzky on the Granato-Sandstrom line, and they've done a good job forechecking in the last couple of games.
Now the puck back behind the Winnipeg net again. We've played just about 3 minutes of the first period. There's no score. Here's Winnipeg with it. Mark Kumpel to the King line. Kumpel's pass left side, and McIlwain had it go off his stick. Kings have in their own zone. Pass around the left side to Jay Miller. Miller checked along the boards. He gets knocked down. The Jets hold it in. Here's Kumpel down in the right corner. He gets knocked down there by Halkitis. Puck comes up to Jay Miller. Miller on the left wing. Miller up to center ice. Kings go for a line change. Miller flips the puck down into the Winnipeg zone. Kings got Mike Allison out now. Steve Casper comes on. So Allison, Miller, and Casper up front. It's McSorley and Halkitis back defensively for the Kings. Pass is intercepted by the Jets. Here's Pat Ellenuk. His pass left side to Smale with a shot wide. Rebound back behind the King net, taken by Halkitis. Out to the right point, Gord Donnelly shoots from there. A deflection and a save. The puck was deflected on the way in, and a nice save by Goslin, and the puck cleared to center. Number 34, Gord Donnelly, normally a right winger. He's playing defense tonight. He goes back into the Winnipeg zone to get it. Sends it all the way down into the King zone, and Bob Halkitis will chase it down. 16:05 to go in the first period. No score in the game. Kings have outshot the Jets 3-1. Here's Marty McSorley. Sends it down in deep in the Winnipeg zone, and Bob Essensa, the goaltender, cuts it off behind the net. Taken there by Todd Flickle. Flickle, a young defenseman, moves it up ahead now for Winnipeg. Now Paul Fenton, their leading goal scorer at center ice, sends it to the King line, tipped away, and back to Fenton. Fenton gives it back to Todd Flickle. Flickle with the red line, drives it down the right side, and it skips up off the glass into the crowd. No score in the first period. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Kings have had the best scoring opportunities here in the period. Steve Duchesne getting a pass in the middle, about 40 feet out, a low drive to save, and then the rebound came free as it was deflected off Bukestad as Cronin, the defenseman, tried to clear it to the side, but he cleared it off Bukestad, and Essensa had to be alert. Scoreless here early in the first period, 15:37 left.
Face off right out in front of the King bench as it's taken by Todd Flickle of Winnipeg, and he drives it into the King zone, played off the boards by Duchesne. Duchesne got knocked down to the blue line, but he got it up to center ice. Jets taken away. Dave Ellett's pass deflected. Kings control it in the neutral zone. A pass across the line is taken away by the Winnipeg Jets. Kudelski's pass broken up, and McDermott sends it down to the King zone. Goslin sends it around the boards. McDermott intercepts, threw it right out in front. It bounces off Fenton into the right corner. Fenton checked there. Kings dig it out. Here's a pass by Kruzhelnyski. Out to center ice. Taken by Duchesne. Duchesne to the Winnipeg line. A behind-the-back pass taken away by the Jets. Ellett moves it up the left side to Brent Ashton. Ashton moving in and getting back was Duchesne. And he took him hard into the boards. And a penalty coming up against Peter Praisler of the Kings.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Praisler for taking down McDermott going for the loose puck. We'll be back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network. His first penalty to Peter Praisler of the Kings for tripping McDermott at 5:09, so the Jets will go on the power play. The action behind the net of goaltender Goslin. Duchesne, a heavy check on Ashton, but right there, McDermott chasing behind those two, gets taken down by Praisler, number 25. Jets go on the power play, ranked 16th in the league. Kings penalty killing is rated 16th at 76.6%.
Steve Casper out for the Kings to take the face-off, and he wins the draw to McSorley, and he clears it the length of the ice. Kings have Mike Allison and Steve Casper up front, and McSorley back on defense along with Bob Halkitis. Jets with a power play, no score in the first period. Pass ahead to Ellenuk of Winnipeg out of his reach. Halkitis in to get it for the Kings. He wraps it hard around the boards, and it bounces out to center ice, and the whistle blows. And with no score in the first period, 14:28 to go, we'll remind you this game is coming to you live from the Great Western Forum.
Los Angeles Kings Hockey is brought to you by your Toyota dealers and their quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. And by Great Western's family of companies with over $35 billion in assets. 100 years strong, Great Western will always be there.
Winnipeg and the Kings scoreless here in the first period. 1:37 left on the Jets power play. Face-off deep in the Jet zone. They were guilty of knocking it down with a high stick in the attacking zone.
Now the face-off comes out to center ice. Marty McSorley back to the King line, then drives it to the Winnipeg line. It's knocked down by Dale Howardchuk. Howardchuk for Winnipeg with 1:27 to go on the power play. No score here in the first period. Jets with it. Howardchuk at the red line. Slaps it down the right side into the King's zone. Puck comes around on the left side to Frederick Olesen. He's checked by McSorley. Drops the puck off in the corner now to Paslowski. Now taken in front and scores. The Jets walk right out of the corner. It was Pat Ellenuk coming out of the corner and put it by Goslin. And it's a power play goal, and the Jets lead 1-0.
Well, the Jets dumped it in, and Olesen got involved by jumping up in deep in the attacking zone, and then dropped it for Ellenuk. Ellenuk had time and had room, and he just walked out and put a forehander right between the pads of Mario Goslin. Ellenuk with his 31st goal of the season, second on the Jets in points and goals, fourth in assists, so he's having a good all-around offensive season, one of the top rookies in the National Hockey League last year. Right winger Pat Ellenuk giving the Jets that power play goal and a 1-0 lead.
Now Scott Bjugstad across the line, left side to Todd Ellick. He shoots and a glove save by Essenza. And he hangs on as Ellick tried to pick the long side and he got stopped. We'll be back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Brooks is warming up for a big save opportunity on that Tercel here at Toyota's Big League Sales Event. And there's been so much action, they're sending in relief salespeople. Time! Luciano calls time.
This new Toyota Previa is one can't-miss rookie. There's more room in there than in your trophy case, Joe.
Well, there's more on it than one of your throws at second base, too.
Back to the action. Looks like Brooks is going to get that save.
Catch the excitement while lots of great seats are available at Toyota's Big League Sales Event.
It's the only game in town.
Trophy case.
Scott Bjugstad replacing Taylor on the Ellick-Robitaille line. Bjugstad sets up Ellick at the left circle. Todd tries to go low right corner, but a glove save by Bob Essenza. Ellick has been hot lately, averaging almost a point a game since becoming a fixture at center ice after the All-Star break.
Now the face-off in the Winnipeg zone. Here is Robitaille, checked along the boards to the left of the net. Todd Ellick digs it out. He gives it to Brian Benning. Benning into Ellick. Behind the net to Robitaille. Winnipeg zone. Robitaille checked there by Cronin. Robitaille still with it. Out to the right point to Rob Blake. Left side. Benning. Benning shoots. Knocked down in front as it came through and is picked up by Phil Sykes of Winnipeg. Up ahead to Kumpel. Kumpel drives it down into the King zone. Goaltender Mario Goslin flips it along the boards on the left wing to Robitaille. Robitaille shovels it up to center now. Here's Todd Ellick for the Kings. Into the Winnipeg zone. Ellick to the right side. Ellick tried to give it a Bjugstad. It's poked away by Essenza. Picked up by the Jets and brought out to center ice. As it's sent to the King line by Teppo Numminen, but taken away by Benning. 13 minutes left to go in the first period. 1-0 Winnipeg leads. Both teams at full strength. Jets have it out at center ice. Here down the right side and across the line as Rob Blake got back to check Smale, and here's a penalty to Rob Blake. Smale got taken down by the King rookie defenseman. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Defenseman Rob Blake, who signed an amateur tryout earlier this week playing his second game, is chasing speedy Doug Smale, and he tripped him up, got his stick between the legs of Smale, and down goes Doug at the blue line, and Blake will sit out, and the Jets back on the power play. They lead 1-0 with a power play goal. Ellenuk from Paslowski and Olesen. Ellenuk's 31st, the goal at 5:58.
Face off in the King zone, and the draw won by Casper. Now it comes over to Granato. Granato clears it to center to Casper. Here's Casper against Todd Flickle. Casper down the right side, Winnipeg zone, and then sends it down in deep as the Jets got back, and Casper was looking for some help, but the Kings more intent on killing this penalty right now, and they got back defensively as the Jets bring it to center. Here's Teppo Numminen. Numminen fires it back behind the King net. It comes around the right wing corner. Jets with it on the power play. Here's Brent Ashton on the right side. He gets it into Fenton. Fenton's pass over on the left side is out of the reach and played at the blue line by Numminen. He sends it back down in deep to Fenton. Fenton on the right side to Ashton. Ashton in front. Up the middle. Numminen shoots. It's deflected wide. Picked up by Brent Ashton again. Here's Ashton along the right wing board. Back to Flickle at the right point. Flickle back to Ashton. He shoots. Deflected wide. Rebound left side taken by Numminen. He tried to give it to McDermott. Interference going to be called here against the Winnipeg Jets. They're going to get McDermott for interference as he ran in and took down Steve Duchesne. So the teams are both going to be shy a man now with 11:56 to go in the first period. The Jets have a 1-0 lead, and we'll pause for station identification. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Winnipeg.
Travel for this evening's telecast arranged through U.S. Air, offering convenient hourly nonstops between San Francisco and Los Angeles International Airports. U.S. Air, California's most frequent flyer.
Right winger Paul McDermott, an aggressive forward who was acquired midway through the season from the Hartford Whalers, is going to go. Ashton takes a shot that's deflected wide, and the puck gets by McDermott, and it's on the near side, and McDermott is going to take out Duchesne right there before Duchesne had a chance to even get near the puck. So a classic case of interference right there. So now both clubs will be shy of skater for a minute 5, so a lot of extra ice out there. The Kings have sent out Contos with Sandstrom up front.
Now the Winnipeg Jets with it, back of their own line, past the King line, is taken there by Bob Halkitis. Halkitis sends it up to center. It's tipped by Contos over to Sandstrom. Sandstrom to the Winnipeg line. He shoots. It's blocked. Rebound. Sandstrom gets tripped, and there's a penalty to Winnipeg. And the Kings are going to have a power play now, and then a two-man advantage when they get Rob Blake back.
Donnelly will go to the penalty box. He's going to complain about the call, but it looked to me like it was rather obvious. And to the fans here, Donnelly trying to plead his case, but Sandstrom takes the shot. Donnelly blocks it. And then Sandstrom tried to pick up the rebound. Donnelly took him down. The shot right there. Sandstrom turns to go after it. And Sandstrom falls over the blade of Donnelly's stick. Donnelly obviously complaining that Sandstrom took a dive, but not in the eyes of the guy that counts, Terry Gregson. Bob Murdoch, first full year with the Winnipeg Jets. His penalty killers go to work. They're third in the league. Kings power play is rated fifth at 23.1%.
So it's a 4-on-3 skating advantage for the Kings here, and they've got Casper out to take the draw, and he wins the draw to McSorley. McSorley, the left point to Halkitis. Halkitis down the left side. Stops at the top of the circle, gives it back to McSorley. McSorley, right side, gives it back to Halkitis. Halkitis at the left point. He waits, feeds it over to McSorley. McSorley shoots, deflected wide. Rebound left side, taken by Halkitis again. Kings on the power play. Halkitis, top of the slot. He shoots, save Essendon. Rebound, picked up by Brent Ashton, and he clears it down into the Kings zone.
Couple of good shots by the point men. McSorley, who's got a hard, heavy shot from the top of the right circle, and then Halkitis in the middle of the ice.
Now to center ice, pass on the right side to Robitaille. The Winnipeg zone, Robitaille gets it back on the right side, taken there by Halkitis. Halkitis back into Robitaille. Robitaille in front, and Casper couldn't shovel it in. The Kings now with a two-man advantage for 54 seconds. Right side, here's Robitaille. Shoots, and a glove save by Essenza, and he hangs on again.
Well, the player coming out of the penalty box, Rob Blake, skated straight across to the bench for a replacement as Luc Robitaille goes for goal number 50. As we mentioned earlier, a couple of great chances the other night here against the Winnipeg Jets, but Bob Essenza has come up big here in the first period, and he's come up big in his previous two games this year against the Kings, both wins. Last year he registered a tie against the club, so Essenza very impressive against the Kings in his short NHL career.
So the faceoff will be to the left. Bob Essenza, voted player of the game in the two games against the Kings this season. And now the Kings with the blue line. Duchesne sends it over to Robitaille. Back to Duchesne. Left side it goes to Praisler. Praisler shoots and deflected wide. Picked up by Sandstrom. Back to Praisler. Left side. Kings with a two-man advantage. Praisler shoots wide. Left side. Rebound behind the net. Robitaille digs it out. Robitaille with it. Robitaille still has it. Gives it over to Duchesne. 28 seconds left of the two-man advantage. Here's Robitaille in the right circle. Up the middle to Duchesne. Back to Robitaille. Right side. Robitaille waits. Gives it to Duchesne. Back to Robitaille. He shoots. Deflected off the glass. Picked up by Praisler with 15 seconds to go in the two-man advantage. Praisler, top of the slot. Praisler with it. Over to Robitaille. Shoots wide. Rebound off the boards. Played by Todd Flickle of Winnipeg. He can't clear it. Held in by Duchesne. 4 seconds to go in the two-man advantage. Puck comes over along the boards. The Jets dig it out, and it is cleared. And the Jets get one man out of the penalty box, and it's now a one-man advantage for the Kings.
Kings trying to set up Luc Robitaille. Left shot off the right circle so he could one-time it. He had that shot towards the end of the two-man advantage, but he missed the short side.
Now we're down to the end of the one-man advantage here, and the Jets are back at full strength, still leading 1-0. Kings with it. Winnipeg zone. Here's Praisler at the blue line. He gets checked there. He tries to hold the puck in. Gets tipped along the boards on the left side, taken by Contos. Contos pass, broken up by Frederick Olesen, and he clears it back out to center and down into the Kings zone. Kings just didn't get much movement on that two-man advantage, Nick. Players stationary, taking time, wondering where to pass, and Kings have not done well with the two-man advantage.
Well, I think right here, Bob, everybody in the club wants Robitaille to get that 50th, and I think they were really looking for him throughout the course of that two-man and then one-man advantage.
Now the King blue line, the Jets try to hold it in, and they do. Kumpel sends it in deep. It's taken away now, and back behind the King net goes Brian Benning. Benning leads it out to center, trying to get it to Makela. Comes all the way down to the Winnipeg zone. Makela chasing it down. He got to it first. No icing. Puck comes along the right wing boards. Kings trying to hold it in play, but now Doug Evans digs it out for the Jets. His pass to the blue line comes out to center ice. Kings take over there. 8:37 to go in the first period. 1-0 in favor of Winnipeg on a goal by Pat Ellenuk on the power play. Now Brian Benning, just back after missing 9 games with an emergency appendectomy. He sends it back behind the Winnipeg net, and Teppo Numminen back to get it there. Over to Evans. He didn't get it, but it came out to center ice anyway. McSorley sends it back in, and it's a deliberate offside, and they're going to move the faceoff back into the Kings zone. 1-0 Jets. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Hi, I'm Joe Garagiola with Johnny Bench. The action's been great at Toyota's Big League Sales event. Let's go to Johnny for a post-deal interview.
Harmon, great deal you made today. Let's take another look.
Okay, well, here's where the Toyota dealer put the deal right where I wanted it.
I'll say 1,300 in factory-to-dealer incentives right down the middle.
Yeah, and the 735 and option packages look great.
Well, you got all of it.
And I drove it right out of here.
Joe, back to you.
Don't miss the excitement at Toyota's Big League Sales event. It's the only game in town.
8:17 left in the first period. The Jets have grabbed a 1-0 lead on the power play goal by Pat Ellenuk. Jets only have a couple of shots in the period, but one of them beat goaltender Mario Gosselin as Ellenuk walked in from the far corner on the man advantage.
Now the Kings win the draw in their own zone. It's moved up on the left side by Halkitas out to center ice, and Frederick Olesen with it for the Winnipeg Jets. Olesen back in his own zone. Jets have one more game left after tonight. That's at home on Sunday against the Edmonton Oilers. Kings with it. Here's Casper shooting, and it's wide to the right. Casper coming down the left side of the slot, but the puck played off the boards now and moved up to center ice by Winnipeg. It gets away from Smale, taken by the Kings. Here's Bob Halkitas. His pass knocked down by Dale Howardchuk. Howardchuk for the Jets. Back up to center ice of the red line now. Now sends it into the Kings zone. It's knocked out of the air by the stick of Bob Halkitas. Halkitas trying to clear it, and he does up to the blue line, taken down by Jay Miller for the Kings. Here's Miller, left side to Casper. Casper moving it over to Allison, and his shot just wide to the right side. Allison trying to redirect it, and just couldn't do it. Mike Allison, who hasn't scored since November 14th. Would it be nice to have him light the light tonight? Puck comes down to the blue line of the Jets. Allison trying to get away from a check. Kicks it toward the line. Now the Jets take over at center ice. 7:11 to go. First period. 1-0 Winnipeg. Puck driven down into the Kings zone. Rebound toward the front of the net. Gosselin tips it away. Now it comes toward the top of the slot. Played by the Kings. Allison. Now to Miller. Now hit the Todd Ellick. Ellick left side. Shoots and a save. Bob Essensa got his left leg out. Good speed by Ellick. Kings take it away. Winnipeg zone. Robitaille. His shot wide. Rebound off the boards. Comes out towards center ice. Right in front of the Winnipeg bench. Taken by Scott Bukestad for the Kings. He gets it to Robitaille. Robitaille to Todd Ellick. Ellick right side. Nice pass up the middle. Duchesne shoots and it's tipped wide. He came right down the middle and couldn't beat the goaltender Essensa. Now the puck back behind the Winnipeg net. Robitaille with it there. He's checked by Brent Ashton. Boy, there was a nice soft pass by Ellick right into the top of the, in between the circles. And the puck brought to center now by Winnipeg. Teppo Numminen sends it ahead. Here's Ashton chasing it down with the goaltender Gosselin. Flips it along the boards on the right wing side. Jets break it up. Flickle with a shot from the right point. It hit Duchesne. Duchesne to center to Contos. Contos for the Kings. Across the line to Duchesne. Duchesne in the slot. Got knocked down. Penalty coming up against Winnipeg. Penalty to the Jets for hooking. 1-0 Winnipeg leads. We'll be back with the King power play. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Rising from the Las Vegas desert this June, Excalibur Hotel Casino. There has been nothing like it since Camelot. Excalibur Hotel Casino, Las Vegas. For reservations, call 800-937-7777.
Hooking to Paul McDermott at 13:57 as Duchesne was joining the play. Kings on the attack. Dropping it in the middle was Ellick for Duchesne, but he was hooked right there. Then while on his side, tried to redirect it towards goaltender Bob Essenza. Nice play earlier on that shift by Ellick. Nice backhand pass between Donnelly's skates to Duchesne, who walks in but flubbed the backhand attempt with Ashton chasing the back check.
Now the face-off to the right of Bob Essenza as the Jets have the 1-0 lead, and it's only that they have it because of the goaltending of Essenza. Power play Winnipeg, 1 of 2, 1 shot. Kings 0 for 2. They've had 3 shots as the Kings are on the power play here now trying to tie the score. Here is Sandstrom behind the Winnipeg net, off on the right side, and gets it back again, gives it out of the right point to McSorley. Left point, it goes to Bob Halkitis. Halkitis with it there, back to McSorley, back to Halkitis. Halkitis at the left point. Halkitis at the blue line. Feeds it down the left side to Tony Granato. Granato to Halkitis. And Halkitis lost it out to center ice. Puck taken by Granato for the Kings. Over to Marty McSorley. Back to Bob Halkitis. Halkitis back in the Kings zone. Up on the left side to Contos. He gives it back to McSorley on the right. McSorley sends it across the line. He got tripped up. No penalty called. Puck taken by Dave Ellett. And Ellett clears it up out of play. And McSorley's a little upset with Terry Gregson, the referee. So the puck came out of play as the Jets trying to kill this penalty. They lead 1-0. Todd Flickel, a youngster just brought up and played the other night against the Kings.
Out of Bowling Green University, the same university where newcomer Rob Blake came from, but they were not teammates. Flickel's been a pro now for 3 seasons. When he left, that was Rob Blake's freshman year. Flickel, a defenseman, and Blake, a defenseman, both in the lineup here tonight. Jets are in front, 1-0. On the power play goal by Elenuk, his 31st. Again, the Kings without Wayne Gretzky tonight, who's missing his 5th game in the last 6. And we're going to talk about Wayne's problem with Wayne between periods 1 and 2.
Jets within their own zone, and it's cleared back down into the King zone with 1:12 left to go on the King power play. Jets up 1-0 with 5:10 to go in the first period. Bob Miller along with Nick Nixon and Randy Hahn. Final home game of the regular season. Here's Peter Fraser for the Kings to center ice. His pass off on the right side, but offside called against the Kings at the Winnipeg line.
And again, Luke Robitaille is out there on the power play. Mikko Makela for the Kings. Coaches have been pleased with Makela's play recently. Tom Webster, along with Rick Wilson, told me a couple of days ago that he's really doing a good job defensively. Tom is real pleased with the way everybody's played defensively the last couple of weeks. Again, the Kings have been designating a forward on every line since that last game, that second game in that set at Winnipeg in early March, to concentrate more on being the high man and not get caught up ice. The Kings are getting results.
Now in the Winnipeg zone, left wing side, comes to the left point to Benning. Over to the right side now. Kings on the power play for another 45 seconds. Duchesne sends it down in deep, but it's tipped away and cleared by Doug Evans of Winnipeg. Ryan Benning back together for the Kings. Here's Benning back up to center ice. His pass ahead to Makela. Tips it over to Kruzhelnyski. Trying to get down the middle. Tipped away from him and cleared again by the Jets back into the King zone. Goaltender Mario Gazin all the way out to the boards to get it. Then he flips it back behind the net. Fans oohing over that because if he misses, he puts it into his own net. Now it comes on the right side, broken up again by the Jets and cleared by Dave Ellett.
And in the process, he would become the second goaltender to actually shoot the puck and score.
Only against the wrong team.
Yeah.
Puck is back behind the King net, and the power play is over. The Jets have killed another one, and they still lead 1-0. Here's Jay Miller. Sends it to the Winnipeg line. Broken up there by Dave Ellett. Ellett for the Jets. Sends it back into the King zone. It's taken there by Steve Casper. Casper gives it to Jay Miller on the left wing. Miller, Winnipeg zone. Miller with it. Miller down in the corner. Sends it behind the net to Mike Allison. Allison's pass intercepted by Laurie Boschman. He gets it to Elenuk. Elenuk to center with Smale. Elenuk across the line, and Smale is offside for Winnipeg. 3:38 to go in the first period. 1-0 Winnipeg.
And Pat Elenuk is the only guy that has scored here in the first period with his 31st of the season. A good shot. Last year, 26 goals. He's bettered that by 5 now this season. 17 more assists and a total of 22 more points. So Elenuk in a sophomore season, no sophomore jinx for him. Excellent season for the right winger.
Face-off outside the King blue line with 3:38 to go in the first period. Kings win the draw. Jay Miller, McSorley, and now to Bob Halkitis. Alpita sends it out to center ice. Jets Todd Flickle chases it down into his own zone. His pass taken away. Jay Miller in the slot. Backhander in front to Casper, and he couldn't put it past Essenza. Essenza knocked it down. Now in front to Jay Miller. Shoots and a save, Essenza. Essenza may be shaken up. He's slow getting up. Puck comes out to the blue line. Held in by the Kings. Here is Allison to Jay Miller. Miller to Casper on the right side. His pass back to the blue line comes out to center ice. Essence is back up now, but he was slow getting up after making that save.
Yeah, and Gregson, the referee, came by and said, "Are you all right?" And he shook his head, said, "Yeah, I can go," and they let play continue.
2:55 to go in the first period. 1-0 Winnipeg. Kings with it, but offside. Jay Miller couldn't get out of the zone fast enough. And we have a stoppage of play.
McSorley on the far side. Little exchange there with a couple of the Jets, but he'll skate away. Bob Essenza, this is the third time he's faced the Kings this year, and he's just picking up where he left off in the previous two. Miller with a backhander, the save. The rebound attempt, Casper, and he is denied. Then Essenza, I think right there he was slow in getting up, and then Casper in front to Allison, who worked it out of his skate, and it came to Miller, who came off the right wing side that time to poke it towards the goaltender. Right there, it looked like he might have gotten kneed by his own player. He's trying to shake it off right now, but Gregson, the referee, was aware of it and let play continue. The Kings have outshot Winnipeg 11-2, but they haven't scored yet. McSorley, Duchesne twice, Ellick twice, Casper, all with good chances.
Now the Jets flip one into the Kings zone that Goslin knocks down. 2:41 to go in the first period. And only the great goaltending of Bob Essenza has kept the Kings from taking the lead in this game. As the puck is driven the length of the ice, we're going to get an icing call against the Kings here. Frederick Olesen back to touch it for Winnipeg. 2:30 to go in the first period with Winnipeg ahead 1-0.
Well, Todd Ellick, you look at that trade, Nichols for Sandstrom and Granato, and the Kings actually picked up 3 forwards. You include Ellick, who wasn't a regular before that trade. 2 big third-period goals in the come-from-behind tie the other night with the Jets. 32 points since his recall from New Haven. But when he was recalled in mid-December, he wasn't used very much, sparingly, 2 or 3 shifts a game. Then when Nichols got traded, he was put in between Robitaille and Taylor, and he's picked up 28 points in 29 games. Not bad production.
Kings within their own zone. Here's Rob Blake back behind the King net, only his second game in the NHL. Blake moves it on the left side to Todd Ellick. He gives it to Benning. Back to Ellick. Ellick to center. Ellick to the Winnipeg line. Trying to come down the middle. Split the defense. Couldn't do it. Puck taken away by Doug Evans for Winnipeg, but he can't clear it. Now it comes back to him, and he clears it out to center ice. Picked up there by Greg Paslowski. Paslowski across the King line. Poke checked off his stick by Benning. Taken by Todd Ellick. Nice move. Ellick to center. Ellick across the line. Ellick, right side it goes to Robitaille. Can't get the shot. Robitaille in the corner. Still with the puck. Gives it behind the net. Taken there by Bukestad. His pass out to the left point. Benning with it there. Now into Robitaille. Robitaille to Bukestad. His shot blocked on the way in by Sean Cronin. Winnipeg Jets come back to center. 1:30 to go in the first period. 1-0 Jets, and they go offside at the King line. 1:31 left to go here in this first period. Doug Evans for the Winnipeg Jets, signed as a free agent by St. Louis back in 1985 and played parts of 4 seasons with the St. Louis Blues, and then was acquired from St. Louis this year. Evans with 4 points against the Kings the last time they met in Winnipeg. He had a big night. 1-0 Winnipeg here with 1:31 left to go in the first period. Jets leading 1-0 as Brent Ashton has it out at center ice. Here's Ashton back to his own blue line. Sends it off on the left side to Teppo Newman, and he fires it around behind the King net. Paul Fenton chases it down for Winnipeg in the right corner. He gives it to Paul McDermott. Here's McDermott on the left side. He drops it into Ashton. Ashton checked in the corner by Fraser. Fraser comes out with it. He's checked behind the King net. He gets some help there, but Duchesne trying to get the loose puck. The Jets dig it out. Ashton with it. He's checked by Fraser. Less than a minute to go in the first period. Ashton with a wraparound and a save by Goslin. And now a battle for the puck. One of the Kings got knocked down. It was Contos. Got knocked down by Fenton. Now back behind the King net. The drop pass goes to Fraser. He gets spun around by McDermott. McDermott behind the King net. 40 seconds to go in the period. McDermott fighting along the boards. Checked by Duchesne. Now Duchesne hits him again in the corner. Penalty coming up as play is stopped. See who they're going to get. The Jets had possession, but I think we're going to get one player from each team here. Boy, there was a battle going on behind that King net. Praisler and Duchesne were back there bumping bodies, and finally penalties were called. We're going to get one on the Jets for sure, and I think one on the Kings here. 32 seconds remain in the first period. It's 1-0 Winnipeg, and a goal by Pat Ellenuk. Well, now they've closed the door to the Winnipeg bench, and what have they done? They closed both doors now, so yeah, they do have a Winnipeg penalty. Paul McDermott and Contos for the Kings. So McDermott and Contos get the penalties, and they leave the ice because there's only 32 seconds remaining here in this period. 1-0 Jets lead. Face off to the right of Mario Goslin, and on the draw in front, saved by Goslin on Kumpel's shot. Oh, Mark Kumpel got the puck right in front of Goslin from about 8 feet away, and Goslin made the save. Puck comes all the way back into the Winnipeg zone. Jets move it up to center now. Here on the right side is McElwain to Ellis with a drive, and it's high over the net and off the glass. Poked back into the corner by Goslin, and then up out of play into the crowd. 11 seconds to go here in this first period with Winnipeg up 1-0, but Goslin just came up with a great save on Mark Kumpel, number 21. Kumpel got the puck right in between the circle and got a quick shot, but Goslin was ready for it, and he made the save. We want to send a happy 79th birthday to Ben Ziegler, watching tonight out in Palmdale. Face off to the right of Mario Goslin with 11 seconds left to go here in this first period. Dave McElwain will take the draw for the Jets, and Mike Kruzhelnicki for the Kings. And not ready yet. Now they drop the puck, and it's taken by Bob Kudelski of the Kings. He clears it out to center, back into the Winnipeg zone. Wayne Gretzky will be next guest here in a few moments at the end of this period. 1 second to go, and that's it. End of the first period. The Kings outshoot Winnipeg 11-4, but the Jets got the only goal. Pat Ellenuk walking out of the left corner on the power play got his 31st of the year from Greg Paslowski and Frederick Olesen at 5:58, and that was the only goal in the first period. Well, coming up live in just a couple of moments, let's find out about that injured back that has kept Wayne Gretzky out of action lately, and Nick will be talking with the leading scorer in the NHL, Wayne Gretzky.
Off the draw. First period stats: Kings out shooting Winnipeg 11-4, outchanced them 6-2. Face-offs: 8 wins Winnipeg, 7 for the Kings, and on the power play, Jets 1 of 2 and the Kings 0 for 3. Other games in the NHL tonight: Washington and Philadelphia, a 2-2 tie. New Jersey beats the Rangers 6-4. Pittsburgh loses at St. Louis 5-4. Buffalo over Minnesota 4-2. Hartford loses at Boston 3-2. Chicago beats Toronto 4-2, and Montreal wins at Quebec 5-2. Washington tying tonight clinches a playoff spot in the Patrick.
Now the Jets, as the second period's underway, drive it into the King zone, and Newman shot hit somebody on the way in. I think McSorley now a backhander by Ellenuk, and it's saved by Goslin. He tipped it wide. Puck is in the right wing corner. Played by the Jets now as it rolls away from Botsman, taken by the Kings. Here's Mikko Makela to center. Makela left side along with Kudelski. Makela to Kudelski, but it's intercepted by Teppo Numminen. Numminen gives it to Smale. Smale at his own line, sends it back into his own zone. Now Numminen with it. He comes into the King zone. Pass off to the right point. A pass deflects back out to center. It's taken by Todd Flickle of Winnipeg. Flickle lifts it high in the air into the King zone. Second period just underway. 1-0 Winnipeg leading. Here's Rob Blake for the Kings. Sends it over to Halkitas. He chips it out to center ice. Jets take it away and slap it right back into the King zone. Puck is back behind the King net. Bob Halkitas back to get it. Kings moving from our left to our right here in this second period. Pass off the boards. Comes all the way down the Winnipeg zone. We're going to get an icing call against the Kings. Todd Flickle back to touch it for Winnipeg. And they'll bring it back into the King zone to face off. 1-0 Winnipeg Jets.
Well, a look at the playoff race in the Patrick Division. The Rangers, New Jersey, and Washington tied tonight are all in. Pittsburgh loses tonight. They've got 72 points with a game left. They're 1 ahead of the Islanders, who have a game left, and 2 ahead of the Flyers, who have 2 games left. The Flyers' final games will be at home and then at New York on Saturday with the Islanders. Pittsburgh can eliminate both the Islanders and Philadelphia by winning their last game which will be at home to Buffalo on Saturday night. So Washington has joined New Jersey and the Rangers in postseason play from the Patrick Division.
You know, people can say what they want about the playoff system, but it goes right down to the wire in that division this year, and several games still meaning something this late in the season. Puck is taken by the Kings at center ice. Here's Rob Blake with it. Blake steps to the Winnipeg line, then sends it down the right side. It's broken up there by Dave Ellett.
And the 5 teams that will not make the playoffs this year wouldn't have made it in any other division. So it works out nicely that way, too.
Now the Jets drive it down to the King zone. Poked around on the left side to Todd Ellick. He can't clear it. Puck is now rolled off the stick, out to center ice off the stick of Dale Howardchuk. 1-0 Winnipeg. Second period underway. Kings send it down the right side as Bukestad fires it in the Winnipeg zone. Checked by Todd Ellick. Back behind the net on Frederick Olesen in the Winnipeg zone. Olesen takes a run at Ellick, and he's going to get a penalty for it now. Puck is played by Dave Ellett, and here's a penalty to Winnipeg.
Olesen really took a run at Ellick after that heavy hit by Todd on Olesen. We'll be back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Subway makes a BMT and it's my way. The BMT's got a spicy secret at Subway. It's got fixins, crisp and cool as ice. But what's that secret? Slice to slice, that secret taste is just one place. Subway, my way. Subway, Subway.
Right now, get a 6-inch BMT for just $2.29 at Subway.
Frederick Olesen out of Sweden elbowing Todd Ellick here early in the second at 1:54. Watch Olesen right there. Gets up the right elbow. Ellick did a pretty good job to protect his face, and Olesen kept going at Ellick. Ellick must have hurt Olesen with his hard clean check right before that behind the Jets' net.
Now the Kings with a chance to tie it up on the power play, but the Jets have in their own zone. They can't clear it. Fraser at the left point for the Kings. Sends it around the boards over to Luke Robitaille. Here's Robitaille. Shovels it down the right corner, and then it was tipped away from him. Now he got it back again. He puts it down in the right corner again. It's played by Casper into Robitaille. In front to Todd Ellick, and he couldn't find it. It was hopping, and he just couldn't control it. And the Jets clear to center to Smale. Smale, King zone with a backhander and a save by Gaza. Smale looking for a short-hander. Winnipeg Jets with it. Shot from the left point by Cronin is wide. Rebound off the boards, taken by Robitaille. They head to Todd Ellick at center. Here's Ellick to the Winnipeg line. Gives it on the right side to Casper. Casper, Winnipeg zone. Into Todd Ellick. Ellick in the right wing corner. Kings on the power play for another minute 16. Puck comes to Casper. Casper back to Todd Ellick. It's taken away and cleared out to center by Teppo Numminen. It rolls back into the King zone, and back to get it now is Steve Duchesne. Up to center quickly, and it's tipped down the left side into the Winnipeg zone. The goaltender Essenza behind the net. He sends it around the boards. Sandstrom breaks it up. Now Sandstrom, right wing side. Sandstrom still with it. Stick handling into the corner. Lost the puck there to Flickle, and he can't clear it. Left point, it's held in by Benning. Now on the left side, Robitaille in behind the net to Sandstrom. Back on the left side, tried to give it to Robitaille, broken up by Dave Ellett, and cleared as it hopped over the stick of Benning back into the King zone. 1-0 Winnipeg. Kings have 34 seconds left to go on the power play, and the goaltender Goslin stick handling with it, looking for help. Now it comes to Rob Blake at center. Blake's pass tipped by Tony Granato into the Winnipeg zone. Dave Ellett chasing it in. He's beaten to the puck. It comes around to Granato in the right corner, but he overskates it, and the Jets take it away and clear it to center with 15 seconds left to go in the King power play. Now Sandstrom for the Kings. Up to center ice. Gets it back again at the red line. Sandstrom cut off in front of the King bench. 6 seconds to go on the power play. Sandstrom still with it. Tried to feed it to Granato at the Winnipeg line. Broken up by the Jets' Numminen to Ashton. And the Jets are back at full strength. And the puck taken by Winnipeg at center ice. Rob Blake with a check on Paul Fenton. Puck is just across the King blue line. Now kicked away, and Sandstrom plays it off the board.
The Jets with good penalty killing all season long, rated third, and clubs with good penalty killing usually have quick forwards, and that's been the forte for the Jets over the seasons. Guys like Smale, Fenton, Brett Ashton, all doing a good job this year up front killing penalties.
Winnipeg Jets within their own zone. They're moving from our right to our left. They're leading 1-0 here in the second period. Teppo Numminen out of Finland comes across the King line, moves to the right point, drives it in behind the net. Mario Goslin jumps back there to cut it off, gives it to Halkitis. Kings coming back out. Pass up ahead. Allison to Casper. Here's Casper across the line. An offside called against the Kings. 15:18 to go in the second. Winnipeg ahead 1-0. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
you are, what you eat. What's true for man is true for machines. Starting the day right can make a difference. Get Mobile Super Unleaded Plus. Its detergent formula can unclog vital engine parts. For power and performance, drive your engine clean with Mobile Super Unleaded Plus.
Get a free Lakers glass every time you fill up with 8 gallons or more of Mobile Super Unleaded Plus.
Back here at the Great Western Forum as the Kings close out the home portion of the regular season, 16,005. 31 sellouts this year. That's a franchise record. And they drew 628,274 fans, which is a single-season record.
Now the puck in the Winnipeg zone, but it comes back out to center and played by the Kings, Bob Halkitas. And he drives it back into the Winnipeg zone with the Jets up 1-0. Both teams are at full strength. Here's Dave Ellett. Ellett ahead to Howardchuk. Howardchuk, leading scorer for the Jets, gives it over to Doug Evans. Evans across the line. Evans to the right side, back to the right point, and Donnelly with a shot, but the Kings take it away, and they have a 2-on-1. Here is Casper across the line. Casper, and he couldn't come in any further as Dave Ellett got back. It was Casper along with Allison, but Ellett got back and made a nice play to tip it away from Steve Casper.
Ellett the only defenseman back because Donnelly had pinched inside the blue line and got caught.
Now Jets with it across the King line. A penalty coming up against the Kings. Howardchuk with a shot. Save made. And a rebound by Paslowski and a save. And the penalty called against the Kings. Tripping is the call. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
It goes faster, a quarter easier, and it only costs $1. Trust me. Joey Treacle is alive.
He always had a credibility problem. But now, Joe's getting even with the all-new Impulse. Its 16-valve engine is faster. Its Lotus Tune suspension does corner easier. And the price?
Jimmy, Bobby. Na, 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 na.
Away from the play, Steve Casper got caught for tripping at 5:36 with the Jets on their third power play tonight. They're 1 of 2. Ellenuk with the only goal in the game, his 31st of the season. And for Pat Ellenuk, that was power play goal number 13. He leads the club in that department.
Now the face-off to the right of Goslin on the power play for the Jets. Duchesne with it for the Kings over to Bob Kudelski. Kudelski is chased back behind the King net by Todd Flickel. Kudelski goes down to one knee, and the puck is whistled dead along the boards. 1-0 Winnipeg with 14:15 to go in the second period. This game is coming to you live from the sold-out Great Western Forum.
Kings Hockey is brought to you by your Southern California Chevrolet and Geo dealer. Now get a $1,000 factory cash rebate on a new 1990 S10 Blazer, 2- or 4-wheel drive. See your dealer for details. And by the American Express card. Membership has its privileges. Don't leave home without it.
1-0 Winnipeg. They've got 1:51 left on the power play, and the face-off will be to the left of the King goaltender, Mario Goslin. Paul Fenton ready on the draw, number 11 for Winnipeg. He leads them in goals with 32. And Kruzhelnicki for the Kings, and Fenton wins the draw to Todd Flickel at the right point. Kings zone. Now a pass to Fenton. Tipped into the corner. Fenton with it again. Now it's tipped away from him by Kruzhelnicki, but the bouncing puck comes back to Kruzhelnicki, and he clears it out to center ice, and it skids along the boards back down into the Winnipeg zone. Minute 30 left to go on the King penalty to Steve Casper. Puck taken by the Jets. Here is Flickel at center ice, and he drives it back behind the King net. Comes around in the right corner. Now sent behind the net to Brent Ashton. Ashton now is passing the corner to McDermott. Paul McDermott on the right side, hooked and pulled down, and the Kings clear it, and McDermott is upset. He felt that Duchesne should have gotten a penalty for hooking. Puck is all the way back in the Winnipeg zone and played there by Teppo Numminen. Numminen up the center with a minute to go on the power play. Pass to Brent Ashton, right wing. He shoots, and a save by Goslin. Rebound taken by McSorley. McSorley checked, he can't clear it. Out to the right point, it's held in by Dave Ellett. Ellett over to Numminen. Numminen back to Dave Ellett. Ellett top of the slot. His shot deflected wide by Kruzhelnicki. Picked up by the Jets again. And now a penalty in the corner. I think McDermott got knocked down, and the penalty is going to be called on the Kings here. Now McSorley gets into a shoving match in the corner. And he gets knocked down. And everybody in to break it up. So McSorley being held by Payton.
Could be Paul Fenton. McDermott drawing the first penalty as he was dumped from behind by Halkitis. He was dumped earlier on this man advantage. And I don't know, McSorley may be trying to draw an extra penalty from the Jets. We'll be back, 1-0 Jets. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
It's strange. I can't pick up anything.
Still, huh?
Cold filtered, never heat pasteurized, Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Well, Paul Fenton of the Jets, the former King, is going off. He getting involved with that little scrap after the whistle with Marty McSorley. So Fenton in the box with 32 goals. McSorley and Casper was already in there, joined by Bob Halkitis. Halkitis is sitting behind Casper, who is standing up in the box. McSorley jawing at Pateman, wants to know what the heck went on out there. Well, we'll take a look. McDermott on the simulcast going for a loose puck, and he's dumped right there by Halkitis. There's the first penalty, and then just to the left side of those two, we'll see a second angle now. You see, there is the hook, and Fenton comes in along with McSorley right there, and they push and shove. Fenton then giving McSorley a little bump from behind after McSorley hit McDermott, who was already down on the ice. McSorley getting in a couple of jabs. Fenton dropped his glove. Looked like he might have gotten in a quick right there as McSorley lost his balance. But the extra two goes to the Kings, and they're going to be 2 men down.
2 men short for 39 seconds is what the Kings will face here with a face-off in the Kings zone to the left of Mario Goslin. The Jets have a 1-0 lead, and now an excellent opportunity to widen that. They've got Dale Hawerchuk out at center. He'll take the draw.
Roughing minors to Fenton and McSorley. Halkitis for tripping.
And the face-off, Kruzhelnicki for the Kings, for the Jets control it along the right wing boards. Now Hawerchuk up the middle to Olesen. Left side, and Ellenuk, his pass back in front, deflected off a skate. Taken by Hawerchuk. Hawerchuk on the right side. Hawerchuk still with it. In the middle, tried to give it to Pazlowski. Broken up and not cleared by Kruzhelnicki. The Jets hold it in and now clear it themselves out to center. They did a great job of holding it in, and then a pass from Pazlowski to Olesen came out to center. Jets with it into the Kings zone. Granato comes on the ice and he takes the puck away from Ellenuk and clears it into the Kings or in the Winnipeg zone. Now the Kings get 1 man back. Casper steps out of the penalty box. It's a 1-man advantage for the Jets. Up the middle, Pazlowski with a shot. Deflected. Picked up by Dave Ellett. Ellett's pass tipped away and right back to him again against the right wing boards. Here's Ellett. He gives it to Hawerchuk. Hawerchuk trying to get it to Pazlowski in the slot. Tipped away. Hawerchuk with it again. Out to the blue line to Olesen. Left side to Dave Ellett. His shot knocked down by Rob Blake of the Kings, and he pokes it out to center ice. Puck taken away by the Jets. 55 seconds left to go in the power play. Ellenuk's pass broken up and cleared by Duchesne to center to Casper. Casper stopped at center ice, still has it for the Kings. Stick handles with it. Now he backhands it in deep in the Winnipeg zone.
Good pesky penalty killing. The Kings putting the pressure on, forcing the Jets to make those quick passes. And the Jets aren't handling the pressure.
Now Olesen from center ice. He didn't get across the red line. This will be icing if the Kings get to it. They did not. Fraser thought he did, but the Jets took it away. However, the pass to the blue line came out to center ice. Jets with it again in front of the King bench. Olesen sends it down the left side into the King zone. Takes behind the net, and Benning gets knocked down. Went hard into the boards. He gets up. He's all right. Jets hold it in. Left side, Newman shoots, and a save by Goslin. 13 seconds to go in the power play for the Jets. They lead it 1-0. Behind the King net is Smale. His pass to the blue line comes out to center ice. And 5 seconds are left in the King penalty. Marty McSorley up and ready to come back. Jets with it. Here's Kumpel with a drive. Save, or it went wide. Then Goslin knocked it out of midair as it came back over the net. And a hand pass called against the Winnipeg Jets. So the Kings are back at full strength, still trailing 1-0.
Mario Goslin faced only 2 shots on that power play. Neither one of them really dangerous. Newman and Ashton. That shot deflected off the glass behind and then came right back in front of Goslin, and he tried to play it to the side, but it was over his head on that carom. Mario Goslin, his first start since February 17th, career against Winnipeg 1-4-1. Although this is his first start since mid-February, he has been in relief on a couple of games recently. The 22nd with the Islanders, and in the 24th game against St. Louis, picking up for Rudy in the third period on both occasions.
Face-off outside the blue line of the Kings. 1-0 Winnipeg Jets. 10:54 to go here in the second period. Puck taken by the Jets, and across the King line goes Newman, and it's tipped away from him, and Todd Ellick clears it out to center. Kings have Ellick at center with Bukestad and Robitaille up front with him. Benning and Rob Blake are the defensive tandem for the Kings. Jets send it all the way down the King zone. As Benning touches up, we have an icing call against Winnipeg. 1-0 Winnipeg in the second period. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Nothing tastes as festive, zesty, Latin as the guacamole bacon cheeseburger from Carl's Jr. Charbroiled with 2 strips of crisp bacon and rich, creamy guacamole. Olé! The guacamole bacon cheeseburger. It's back, and it's only at Carl's Jr.
Jets in front, 1-0. Elenick, the only goal, a power play goal early in the first period. Kings looking for their first shot here in the second period. They've been killing penalties for the last 3 minutes, but without a shot here in the first 9.5 minutes of period 2.
Now in the left wing corner, a check thrown in the Winnipeg zone by Todd Ellick on McElwain, but the Jets poke it out to center ice. It rolls toward the circle. Duchesne, they head now to Robitaille in the slot. He gets tied up and thrown down by Sean Cronin. Robitaille trying to come down the middle, got manhandled that time. Now the Jets with it. McElwain chasing it down, but Goslin comes out, sweeps it back behind his own net. Over to Fraser. Fraser clears it up to the blue line, and now the Jets hold it in. Right side, here is Frederick Olesen. Olesen comes to the top of the circle, sends it down the corner on the right side. Now back to Cronin on the left. Cronin with a shot, stick save by Goslin. Rebound to Sykes behind the net. He tried to walk around, poke checked away by Goslin. Sykes again to Kumpel. Kumpel for Winnipeg sends it down the left corner of the King zone, taken away by Todd Ellick. 1-0 Jets. Ellick moves it to center to Duchesne. Duchesne to Robitaille. Back to Duchesne. Tipped away. And at center ice, here's McElwain for Winnipeg. McElwain with Sykes. McElwain tried to give it to Sykes. Broken up by Fraser. Fraser for the Kings. Starts it back the other way. He gets it to Robitaille. 49 goals in the year. Robitaille right side to McSorley. McSorley in front. Trying to give it to Krujewski. Tipped off his stick. Taken away by the Jets. Back they come to center ice. Pass down into the King zone. Would be icing if the Kings get to it, and they do. Icing called against Winnipeg. 9:11 to go in the second period. Jets lead at 1-0. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Ground transportation for this evening's telecast arranged through General Rent-A-Car, the traveler's best friend, with low rates and free unlimited mileage coast to coast. General Rent-A-Car.
Strong first period for the Kings, even though they trailed 1-0. They outshot Winnipeg 11-4 with 6 good chances, but they've been shut down here so far in the second. 6-0 Winnipeg the edge in shots, but the Jets really don't have a good scoring opportunity, so a bit deceiving from that standpoint.
Doug Smale out for the Winnipeg Jets. He'll take the face-off to the right of goaltender Bob Essenza. Essenza made some brilliant stops in the first period, but hasn't had to make one yet here in the second. Kings ready on the draw now. Bob Kudelski will take the face-off. Laurie Boschman in for the Winnipeg Jets. We've got 9:11 to go here in the second period with the Kings down 1-0. Pat Elenick for Winnipeg, the only goal of the game so far, a power play goal back at 5:58 of the first period. Puck taken by the Jets. Around behind the net goes Dave Elliott. He clears it out to center, taken there by Marty McSorley, and he slaps it right back into the Winnipeg zone. Both teams are at full strength. Flickle back together for Winnipeg. He gets it over to Dave Elliott. Elliott moves it out to center, taken away there by Bob Halkitis, and he slaps it right back in. Dave Elliott chasing it down for Winnipeg. He's out of Bowling Green also. A lot of players coming out of Bowling Green University. They can't clear it though. Kings win it. Kudelski with a shot. Save. Rebound. Deflects as the puck was deflected, and an injured player for Winnipeg is down on the ice.
Might be Flickle, the young defenseman.
It is Todd Flickle down on his hands and knees. He blocked that shot, and then the rebound came over in front of the net, but went wide into the corner on the left side. And testing, it looks like maybe the hamstring of Flickle. Flickle up to his skates now and going to skate off under his own power. Still favoring that leg a little bit.
Picked up an assist in his first game this year with the Jets on Tuesday. This year in Moncton. Kudelski winds up for the shot. Down goes Flickle, and it hits him right on the inside of the left leg. Maybe on the inside of the left knee. Second angle on the look from behind goaltender Essens. You see the shot go off the inside of the left leg, maybe the left knee of the defenseman Flickle. The referee, Gregson, waited to see what was going to develop as far as a scoring chance, and when the puck was in the corner and being fought for, then he blew down the play.
Steve Casper in for the Kings to take the face-off in the Winnipeg zone. 8:38 to go in the second period. 1-0 Winnipeg. Kings win the draw. Here's Bob Alcides to the right point to McSorley. McSorley drives it in deep, but it's knocked down by Newmanen. Newmanen gets it to Smale for Winnipeg. Here's Smale across the line. He passes off on the left side to Teppo Newmanen. Newmanen sends it behind the King net. Broken up there by Alcides, but he can't clear it. At the right point, it's held in by Gord Donnelly. Now pass in the middle to Eleanor. Back on the right side. Shot is wide to the left as Boschman got a shot from the right side. Now it comes back behind the King net and chased down by Alcides. Alcides to the blue line, but it's held in again by the Jets. Donnelly. He flips it toward the net, and a glove stop made by Goslin. And then we got Boschman and McSorley grabbing one another. Well, this summer, Nick and a lot of the King players are going to go cruising, and you can join them. 7-day Caribbean cruise departing July 22nd, sponsored by Corporate International Travel. For information, call area 818-880-0525. That's area 818-880-0525. You can join the Kings on a Caribbean cruise. Nick Nixon, John Tonelli, Bob Kudelski, Mike Kruzhelnicki, Jay Miller. And Nick can't wait for those 9 meals a day.
9 meals, whenever I want. Room service. Like that on the road during the season, isn't it?
That's right. You'll have a great time. It's a great cruise to the Caribbean. So we hope all of you will join those members of the Kings this summer.
Ryan Benning back out on defense 3 weeks after the emergency appendectomy. Quite a recovery.
At the right point, Cronin with a drive deflected wide. Some of the people, Nick, up here saying that you're going to excel at shuffleboard on the crew. Puck comes all the way back into the King zone. We've got an icing call here against the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, making his second appearance as a King, number 4, 6'3", 215-pound, 20-year-old defenseman Rob Blake. He is the second Blake to play for the Kings. Remember goaltender Mike Blake in the early 80s? No relation. Mike Blake was a distant relative of Toe Blake, the former Montreal coach. So Rob not related to Toe either. 23 goals with Bowling Green, 13 of them on the power plays. Got the big shot. We saw it a couple of times the other night.
You know what they liked about him? Rick Wilson said, I like the way he skates. You watch him, and he likes his footwork for a big guy. Now the Jets try to clear it out, and it bounces off some bodies out to center ice, and Winnipeg with it. Down the left side, into the King zone, Paslowski to Howardchuk, tipped away. Left side, Cronin for Winnipeg. His shot deflects into the corner, played by Howardchuk. Howardchuk's pass knocked down by Contos. The Jets have a 1-0 lead with 7:22 to go in the second period. Now a penalty coming up here against the Kings. They're going to get Rob Blake. He threw a check at Paslowski. Puck is along the boards, and the Jets get the extra attacker. It's Ashton. Now it's taken by Blake, and a penalty coming up for tripping. Maybe it wasn't Blake.
No, I think they're going to get one of the Kings for tripping
Granato.
up. Yeah, tripping up Evans as Evans headed for the front of the net, and Granato took the feet out from underneath number 39, left winger Doug Evans. So Granato will sit out, and the Jets will go on the power play. Call at 12:52 by Terry Gregson.
2 minutes for Winnipeg. Time of the penalty, 12:52.
So Tony Granato over in the penalty box for the Kings. And the Kings will try to kill this penalty. The Jets have a 1-0 lead, and the goal came on a power play in the first period by Pat Ellenuk. He leads them in power play goals with 13.
Sixth tripping penalty called by Terry Gregson here tonight, and 5 of them have been called against the Kings. The Kings have been whistled off for 6 minors, 5 for tripping.
Now Steve Duchesne for the Kings sends it around to Mike Allison in the Kings zone. Allison clears it out to center and back into the Winnipeg zone. Donnelly back to get it. Kings have Allison and Casper up front. They've got Duchesne and Rob Blake back defensively. Winnipeg moves it up the center. Here's Ashton. He gets it over to Newman. Newman down the left side. Newman sends it back behind the King net. Mario Goslin puts it in the corner, taken away by Winnipeg's Ashton. Tipped away from him, though, and up to Casper. Duchesne got it to Casper. Here's Casper up to center at the red line. Now in front of the King bench. Now gives it over to Allison. Allison at center ice, still with it. Stick handles with it. He comes back toward the King blue line. He gives it back to McSorley, who's come on now. And McSorley sends it to the Winnipeg line, and Donnelly back to get it.
Casper with Allison, one of three sets of forwards the Kings are using, killing penalties here tonight. Kruzhelnicki with Kudelski, and then Sandstrom with Granato, although Granato's in the box now. And, of course, when Gretzky gets back, he'll be killing some penalties.
Kudelski just cleared it out to center. Jets take it away again. Driven back into the Kings zone, and now slapped along the boards in the length of the ice by Marty McSorley with 53 seconds left to go, and the King penalty to Tony Granato. 1-0 Winnipeg. Up to center ice, here's Frederick Olesen to Howardchuk. He tips it into the King zone. Howardchuk chasing it over, just eludes a check from Halkitis, who got a lot of the boards there, but the Kings dig it out, and it's cleared into the Winnipeg zone.
I think the Kings very aggressive tonight in their penalty killing, and the Jets unable to get the power play set up and move it around for those point shots, which we saw quite a few of on Tuesday.
Now here's Howardchuk, right side, King zone. Up the middle, Olesen shoots, saved by Goslin. Rebound sent wide. Big save by Goslin. Olesen broke his stick on it, and the Kings clear it out to center ice and into the Winnipeg zone as Kudelski cleared it.
Beautiful setup by Dale Howardchuk. Everybody coming down low, and Olesen just floated in from his left point and just unloaded from between the hash marks, but a good save by Goslin, who came charging out.
Got an icing call against Winnipeg here with 1 second left in their power play. We've played almost 15 minutes of this period, and the Kings don't have a shot.
Well, the only good opportunity the Jets have had in the period now, this one right here. A couple of seconds ago, Howardchuk to Olesen, who fanned partially on it, and it was blocked in front, perhaps by McSorley, who skated in front of Goslin. But Goslin anticipated that play as he came charging out. But really, that's been it as far as a good scoring chance on this particular power play. Second angle on it. Watch McSorley in front. Yeah, McSorley blocks it with his midsection as he got the two gloves down. Never did get through to Goslin, but it's still a good scoring chance for Frederick Olesen, but the puck started to roll as he went to shoot.
Off the draw, Todd Ellick of the Kings bats it toward the Winnipeg net, and Essens knocks it down. No shot given there, so the Kings still without a shot in this period. Puck comes back to Steve Duchesne. He clears it up to center. Here's Ellick on the left wing, hooked and pulled down, and a penalty to Todd Flickle of Winnipeg. So the Kings go on the power play, trailing 1-0. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Who could ask for anything more?
Ask him if it has a 5-speed transmission like Isuzu.
Does it have a 5-speed transmission? Well, I'm going to check on that.
Ask him if it has a bigger payload than Isuzu.
Ignore him?
Or better mileage.
Does it? Not exactly. No!
Ask him why it costs hundreds more than Isuzu.
Now, generous factory cash could mean big savings on a pickup during Isuzu's sale into the 90s.
Todd Flickle off for hooking at 15'10". He's 6'3", 195 pounds. Todd Ellick with his speed getting hooked by the other Todd on the ice, Flickle. A lot of hooks and trips here tonight, so a lot of players getting a half a step on the opposition. 1-0 Jets.
Now the Kings on the power play, looking for their first goal of the game and their first shot of this period, but a pass taken away at center ice, and then overskated by McElwain of Winnipeg. Then he gives it back to Dave Ellett at center, and Ellett sends a high shot wide and off the glass. Kings with it now, starting back out. 4:30 to go here in the second period. Here's Bukestad. Bukestad ahead to Todd Ellick at center, and he can't hang on, but Duchesne has it. Here's Duchesne. His pass on the left side to Ellick. He gets a shot from there, and that's the Kings' first shot of the period. Came with about 4:19 to go in the second period. Now the Jets have it at center ice, so the Kings over 15 minutes before they got their first shot of this period, and now the Jets clear it down into the Kings zone. Kings on the power play for another minute 12. Up to center, here's Steve Duchesne. Duchesne across the Winnipeg line. Duchesne down the right side. Duchesne tried to get around Sykes, and he did, but then he got knocked down, and the Jets clear it to center and back into the Kings zone. 1 minute to go in the King power play. Here's Peter Praisler, the King blue line. He gives it to Todd Ellick. Ellick down the right side. Ellick, Winnipeg zone. Ellick driving, gets a shot, and it's knocked against the side of the net. Ellick gets knocked down. The shot hit the side of the net. Puck comes up the middle. McSorley for the Kings. Right side to Sandstrom. He shoots wide to the right. Rebound left side to Halkitis. Halkitis sends it in deep to Todd Ellick. Ellick tips it over to Sandstrom. Sandstrom pass not enough on it. Cleared by the Jets. Mark Kumpel.
Well, the Kings set up a goal scorer. Sandstrom at the right circle. He had time and room, but he just missed the glove side on Essenza.
Halkitis pass taken away. Evans gives it to Ashton. Ashton on the right side in the Kings zone with 20 seconds to go in the King power play. Now McSorley in to get it, and he is leveled. McSorley got leveled in the corner as the puck comes out of center. That was Doug Evans that hit him. Puck taken by Halkitis of the Kings now. He sends it into the Winnipeg zone. Jets have it. Back they come to center. They're still shorthanded. Here is Ashton across the line. Ashton at the left point. Ashton still with it. His pass right side to Olesen. His shot high and gloved by Goslin. And the Jets are back at full strength again. 2:41 to go here in this second period. Sandstrom sends it down into the zone. Winnipeg zone taken by Contos. He throws it in front. Knocked away by Essenza. To the right point. Shot from there. And a knocked down in front as Blake got the shot. It was deflected in front. Comes behind the net. Pass out in front to Granado with a shot. Deflected up into the crowd.
So the Kings buzzing around the net of Bob Essenza for really the first time in the period as the period winds down with 2:23 left. Rob Blake let a shot go. Contos tried to jam it in from the base of the right circle. Marty McSorley taking a heavy hit on the far side in the King zone by Doug Evans, number 39, a left winger. I think he caught McSorley by surprise. Marty was looking up ice and didn't see Evans coming from along the backdasher boards.
Well, Kelly Rudy, the backup goaltender tonight. At the end of this period, we're going to debut the video of Rudy's on Duty by the Puck Boys, a rap song. Rudy's on duty. There's peace in the crease because Rudy's on duty tonight.
And peace in the world.
That'll be coming up on television at the end of this period. Face off to the left of the net. A shot by Kudelski is blocked on the way in and cleared back out to center. 2:18 to go in the second period. The Kings have been unable to score. They're down 1-0. Puck taken by the Jets across the line. Elena, right side now to Smale with a shot, and it is deflected up high off the glass. Smale with it again, left side. He drops it off in the corner. Jets with a 1-0 lead. Try to get it to Pat Elena. He's got the only goal of the game so far tonight. Now Boschman with it for Winnipeg. He's pinned against the left wing board. Dug out there. Here's Elena. Try to give it in front now to Newman. Tipped away. Taken by Smale to the blue line and tipped out to center ice. Gord Donnelly back to get it. He's playing back on defense tonight for Winnipeg. He's normally a right winger. Now the pass rolls up to the blue line of Winnipeg, taken by Pat Ellenuk. Ellenuk's pass all the way down in the King zone, wide of the net, and Kudelski back to get it. Icing called against Winnipeg. 1:33 to go here in this second period. Jets leading 1-0.
Well, Dougie Smale missing an opportunity on a rush down low by the Winnipeg Jets just a few moments ago. A lot of speed for the Winnipeg Jets out of the University of North Dakota. 10th NHL season, all with the Jets. Earlier in his career, he was on the left side with Dale Howardchuk and Paul McLean. McLean got traded, and Smale has been moved around this year. He's played a lot with Tomas Steen. Steen being rested tonight by Coach Bob Murdoch, but Smale with his speed has been effective over the years against the Kings. Jets in front, 1-0. The power play goal at 5:58 of the first has stood up. Ellenuk is 31st from Kozlowski and Olesen. Both teams here in this period with one good scoring chance. Olesen on the power play earlier for the Jets, and Sandstrom on the recently concluded Kings power play, but Sandstrom missed the net from about 25 feet.
Now on the face-off in the Winnipeg zone, Casper on the draw with Fenton. They go into the right corner of the Jet zone, and Casper tried to move the puck, and Ellett took it away. He sends it off on the right side, and it's cleared up to the blue line now to Brent Ashton. Ashton can't clear it out. Kings hold it in. Casper along the right wing boards with Fenton. They continue to battle. Ashton brings it to center for Winnipeg. Kings take it away their own blue line. Here's Mike Allison with it. 1:07 left to go here in this period. The puck comes down into the Winnipeg zone, and Fenton back to get it. We're in the second period with 1 minute to go in the period. Jay Miller for the Kings sends it through in front of the net. It comes off to the right point to Duchesne. He shoots wide to the left. Rebound taken by Paul McDermott of Winnipeg. Here's McDermott. He sends it up to center, and it's taken away by Praisler, but then he's checked off the puck, and Fenton clears it into the Kings zone. This is going to be icing again against the Jets. Duchesne back to touch it.
Paul Fenton just picking up a loose puck outside the Jets' blue line and backhanding it down. Now a little pushing and shoving out there. Miller with one of the Jets, and in comes Cronin, and Cronin's going to start to go with Jay Miller.
Cronin looked to get a left in and then tumbles down to the ice on top of Jay Miller.
He certainly looked to be the aggressor right there. He came out of nowhere. So we're going to get a penalty or two here at 19:20 of the second period.
Cronin going off the ice with only 40 seconds left to go in this period, and Jay Miller will go off also. See what the penalties are going to be here. The Kings apparently waiting again tonight till the third period to crank it up and get on the scoreboard. Tuesday night in the game between these two teams, Kings trailed 4-0 going into the third and got 4. Jay Miller heads to the King dressing room. He and Cronin are going to get the penalties here. We'll see if Cronin gets an extra 2 for being the aggressor.
Didn't really look like a fight. If it was, it didn't last very long. They both fell to the ice. Probably more roughing minors will be assessed, and maybe an additional 2 for roughing. Usually if there's not fighting majors, you don't get the instigator. So we'll see how it's interpreted by Terry Gregson as Bob Murdoch, the head coach of the Jets, looks on. I got my ballot, Bob, for Coach of the Year. The broadcasters determined that one. He was my number 1 pick, Bob Murdoch.
Well, he was mine also. Cronin gets a double minor for roughing, and Jay Miller gets 2. So the extra 2 minutes goes to Cronin. And the Kings will have a power play, but so far tonight they've been unable to score. They're down 1-0. Now, I agreed with you that Bob Murdoch should be Coach of the Year. Boy, nobody figured the Winnipeg Jets would even be near a playoff spot, let alone into the month of March challenging for first place. On March 11th, they still had a chance.
And he's transformed this hockey club into a team that is playing the Smythe Division style. Fast skating, close checking, good goaltending. They're quick up front. He coached the Blackhawks 2 years ago, but then when Mike Keenan was available, he was let go, and a lot of people thought that was a bad move by the Hawks. Murdoch has proven to be a quality assistant or head coach at the NHL level. Remember, he was an assistant to Bob Johnson in Calgary before he moved on to Chicago.
Faceoff will be to the right of goaltender Bob Essenza. I think we both agreed on all our picks, right? Power play tonight, Winnipeg 1 of 4 with 4 shots. Kings 0 for 5. And only 4 shots on those 5 power plays. Kings with it at the blue line. Right point, here's McSorley. McSorley plays it off the boards. Time running out here in the second period. Only 30 seconds left. Here is Robitaille. Out to the blue line. He gives it to Halkitis. Back to Robitaille. Robitaille, side of left circle. Back to Halkitis. Halkitis shoots wide to the right side. 20 seconds to go in the period. Jets try to clear it. Smale with a 2-hander can't do it. Here's Todd Ellick for the Kings. Ellick in the right wing corner. 14 seconds to go in the period. Ellick sends it down into the corner again to Sandstrom. Sandstrom for the Kings. Right side. 8 seconds to go in the period. Shot by McSorley. Saved. Rebound in front. The Jets try to clear it. They do. And time is going to run out in this period. And it does. That's the end of the second period. The Kings come up with 3 shots in the period, while Winnipeg comes up with 11. We'll catch up with that. Winnipeg with 13. No scoring in that second period, and coming up, Rudy on duty with the Puck Boys. It'll be the prime ticket wrap on television. Keith Crowder will be our guest on radio. We're at the end of 2. It's the Jets 1, the Kings nothing. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
On the ice, the Jets with that 1-0 lead over the Los Angeles Kings. Taking a look at the stats after 2 periods. Shots, Jets 13, Kings 14. Kings only with 3 shots in that second period. Scoring chances, an edge 7-4 for the Kings, 6 of those in the first period. Face-offs just about even, 15 wins Winnipeg, 16 for the Kings. And on the power play, the Jets are 1 of 4, and the Kings are 0 for 5. Well, this is the final regular season home game, but get on board for next year, the 1990-91 season, with season seats. For information, during business hours, call area code 213-673-6003. Chat with a sales representative. Get all the information on season seats for every home game next year, 1990-91.
Well, playoff tickets are still available. All single-game tickets, those are for the first two series, Series A and B, are available at the Great Western Forum box office and all Ticketmaster locations. Those are the single-game tickets for the first two series, Series A and B. Those games will be played here in Los Angeles on Sunday, April 8th, and Tuesday, April 10th.
Sean Cronin still in the box to start the period for the Jets, a double minor for roughing at 1920. Miller will be in the box for the Kings. He also went off for roughing, but just got one roughing minor. So the Kings have 1:20 left on the power play as they look to get on the board and tie it up.
Kings moving from our right to our left here at the start of the third period, down 1-0. Here's Peter Fraser for the Kings, sends it in, stop made by Essenza. Puck comes off on the left side and is taken by Dave McElwain of Winnipeg. He clears it back into the Kings zone. 1 minute left to go now in the King power play. Here's Fraser in the King zone. Fraser sends it further in behind the net to Steve Duchesne. Duchesne starts back out for the Kings, moves it up on the right side now, and Chris Contos drives it back behind the Winnipeg net. Stopped there by Essence of the goaltender. His pass around the boards, held in by Duchesne, now into Granato. Granato behind the net. Granato around the left side. He drops it off, left side, Contos with it. Contos to Sandstrom. Sandstrom tried to give it to Contos, broken up by Newmanen. Now it rolls over to Smale, and Smale for Winnipeg tried to clear it. He's checked hard by Tony Granato. Puck is held in by Contos and then taken away by Smale, and he clears it back behind the King net.
Smale got to within 10 feet of his blue line and then tried to pass to his right, a lateral pass, but there was traffic in the way, and it was blocked, and he was fortunate to recover.
Now Fraser to center. He got tripped, and no penalty called. He got tripped by Sykes. Sykes with a puck. His shot deflected wide. Puck taken by Robitaille. Here's Robitaille for the Kings with 2 seconds to go on the power play. To Duchesne, back on the right side. Across the line, Bjugstad. Back at full strength, Winnipeg. Puck comes in deep to Robitaille. Robitaille on the left side. Robitaille still with it. Dropped it off along the boards to Bjugstad. Bjugstad checked there, and the Winnipeg Jets come out with it. Up on the right side is Greg Paslowski. Paslowski across the King line. He gives it to Sykes. A backhander. Glove stopped by Goslin. He gives it to Todd Ellett. Kings 0 for 6 on the power play tonight. Up to center, Kings with it. Shot from across the blue line by Ellick is wide. Rebound taken by Paslowski of Winnipeg. He drops it off on the right wing side, and the Jets try to clear the zone, and they do as the puck is taken by Kumpel. He cleared it up to center ice. Kings with it again. Off on the right side now, here's McSorley. He slaps it in and a save off the blocker of Essenza, and it comes up into the crowd. 1-0 Winnipeg early in the third period. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Yea, there comes a time in the life of a man and a woman when they must assume the responsibilities of adulthood and leave behind those toys of youth, which though they may runneth fast and give pleasure to the soul, yet leave no room for family.
The Mitsubishi Galant Sports Sedan. It's not only fast and gives pleasure to the soul, it leaves plenty of room for family. Yay.
Remember, $1,000 incentives at your Southern California Mitsubishi Motors dealer now.
Fan with a souvenir puck recently caught, I guess. Here early in the third period, Jets up 1-0. Kings had 4 goals in the third period the other night to overcome a 4-0 deficit to earn a tie. Let's see if they're strong here in the third tonight offensively.
Face off in the Winnipeg zone to the left of the goaltender Essenza. Paul Fenton will take the draw for Winnipeg, and Mike Krushelnyski for the Kings. Kings with Krushelnyski, Makela, Kudelski up front. McSorley and Halkita's back. Kings win the draw. It comes to Kudelski. Kudelski, backhander, just tipped wide by Krushelnyski. Krushelnyski throws it up the middle. Halkita shoots, deflected, and just wide to the left. Deflected by Kudelski. Behind the net, Krushelnyski again. His pass tipped away and against the left wing boards. The Jets clear it out to center ice. Halkita's chasing it down. Goes all the way deep in the King zone. Now plays it off the boards up toward Mikko Makela. He can't hang on. Puck comes out to center, and Gord Donnelly. He gives it away to McSorley. Here's McSorley for Kings to Krushelnyski. Left wing. Krushelnyski moving down the left side. Sends it in deep, and Fenton breaks it up. Fenton passes off on the right side, and the Jets start back out. Newmanen moves it up the center to Fenton at the red line. He drives it in. Stick save by Goslin. Puck comes off to the boards left side. And Fenton again with a shot. Stick save by Goslin. Puck comes over to Mikko Makela. Makela for the Kings. Up to Bob Kudelski. Kudelski to center ice to the red line. Kings are in the line change. Kudelski looking for help. Gives it to Jay Miller. Miller across the line. He sends it down the right side. He knocks Evans down to the ice. And the puck whistled dead as it is frozen in the right wing corner.
Evans losing his edge as he had a half a step on Miller. Miller was going to line him up anyway, and Doug Evans went down and forced the stoppage. Jay Miller just stepping out on the ice, took that little drop pass outside the blue line, but then lost control of it once he hit Winnipeg ice. Jay Miller, tough checking forward, but he's had a career high with 8 goals this year for the Kings in his first full season. The Kings silver, black, and white. Jets up 1-0 on that Elliott goal, his 31st power play at 5:58.
Now off the draw in the slot is Allison. He got knocked down as he tried to get a shot. Puck is taken along the boards and cleared by the Jets to Howarchuk. His pass on the left side to Evans. Evans sends it into the Kings zone right toward the net. Goslin tips it away. Kings are down 1-0. 16:37 to go, third period. Puck sent down the left side into the Winnipeg zone, and Todd Flickle back to get it. Kings have Allison and Jay Miller up front. Flickle checked behind the net, but he gets a pass off on the right side. It's cleared by Paslowski to center. Now Oleson's pass on the left side to Evans, shooting and a save by Goslin. Doug Evans with a hard shot from the left wing, and Goslin with a save. Puck is along the boards, right side, dug out by Paslowski. Gives it to Howarchuk behind the King net. Howarchuk sends it around into the corner. Evans got knocked down. Now he gets up. He gets it in front. Paslowski with a shot and a save by Goslin. Paslowski set up right in the slot, and it was knocked away by Goslin. It's played now by Rob Blake to the Kings, and he gets it to Brian Benning.
It was Blake that cleared out Evans with a hard check behind the net.
Now Blake sends it down the right side into the Winnipeg zone. 15:45 to go in the third period. Bob Miller with Nick Nixon and Randy Hahn. 1-0, Winnipeg leading. Puck is on at center ice, Kings with it. Duchesne, his pass to the Winnipeg line broken up. Duchesne with it again. Over to Sandstrom. Sandstrom down the right side. Evans got a piece of him. Winnipeg with it, taken by Dave Ellett. Ellett clears it out to center ice. Taken there on the red line by the Kings. Pass ahead to Sandstrom. Sandstrom down the right side with Granato. Sandstrom moving in. Tried to give it in front to Granato. Broken up by Donnelly, and he falls down on the puck.
Kings complaining that he fell on it in the crease. 1-0 Jets. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Exclusive stories, in-depth interviews, vital issues from around the world. If you've been watching, you know the one news journal that brings viewers the stories behind today's headlines. World Monitor with veteran newsman John Hart, critically acclaimed, award-winning. It offers a unique perspective on our world, an understanding of the issues and events that shape our lives. Watch World Monitor, weeknights at 10 Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel.
Jets getting a good scoring opportunity on their last rush. Greg Paslowski one-times it, tries to go upper left corner, but a great blocker save by Mario Goslin, one of his best stops of the night. Still 1-0 Jets. Playoff-type hockey here, Bob. Good discipline by both clubs, tight checking through center, and very few defensive breakdowns.
We've got 15:19 to go in the third period. It's a 1-0 lead for the Winnipeg Jets. Kings have 2 games left after this in the regular season. Saturday at Vancouver, Sunday at Calgary. Then the playoffs begin in Calgary next Wednesday. Puck taken by the Jets in their own zone. Pass up on the right side to Elena. Elena gets it to Smale. Smale against Duchesne. Smale across the line. King's zone. He tried to give it to Boschman. It went behind him. Kings break it up. They tried to move it up to the red line at center ice to Robitaille. Robitaille over on the right side. A shot by Bukestad and a save by Essenza. Puck taken by the Jets. Still 1-0 Winnipeg. Up to center ice. Winnipeg with it. Here's Smale across the King line. Poke checked off his stick. Held in by Boschman. Boschman's pass taken away, but it comes right back to him again. He drives it down and deep. It bounces up to the top of the slot. Here's Newman for Winnipeg. Newman to the right point. His pass to Smale. Left side now. Taken there and a shot by Cronin and a save by Goslin. Kings clear to center. Robitaille gives it to Todd Ellick. Here's Ellick to the Winnipeg line. Ellick right side. Ellick cutting in. Backhander. And it's knocked away by Essenza. 14:25 to go in the third. Puck taken by the Jets out to center ice. Sent to the King line. Fraser backing up. Fell down with a puck taken by Bukestad. His pass down the right side, and icing is going to be called here against the King.
Ellick using his speed to step around Cronin at the right circle. We'll be back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
In ancient times, an eclipse moved people to powerful emotions. Some even thought it called for a sacrifice. We can understand how an eclipse might produce feelings of excitement, wonder, even awe. but at $10,919. The Mitsubishi Eclipse is hardly a sacrifice. Now you could save up to $750 with factory-to-dealer incentives.
Peter Praisler having a little trouble with that bouncing puck. Whoops, looks like his right skate caught a rut and down he went, but fortunately Steve Duchesne was right there as partner. That's what defensive partners are for. Winnipeg 1, Kings nothing. Hellenic, the only goal tonight.
That came back at 5:58 of the first period. Face off to the right of the King goaltender Goslin. Mike Kruzhelinski moves in. He'll take the draw. And he's waiting for his teammates to line up properly. Now we're ready to go. Face-off won by McIlwain, and at the left point, a shot is deflected wide, and the rebound off the boards. Kings with it. Makela ahead now to Kudelski. Tips it into the Winnipeg zone, and the goaltender Essenza covers it up. Kudelski had a full head of steam coming up to center ice, and then he tipped the puck into the Winnipeg zone, and Essenza covered for the face-off.
Well, Bob Essenza real strong in the first period, which, as it has turned out, has been the Kings' strongest period offensively. Tonight's game is the 75th all-time meeting. There's never been a shutout between the Jets and the Kings, and the Jets have played well over 500 hockey here in Los Angeles. They have really played well in this building since the divisions realigned and they became Smythe Division rivals in the early 80s.
Well, the Kings have went over 15 minutes of the second period without a shot. They've had 4 already here in this third period. And at the left point, here's Bob Halkitis in the Winnipeg zone. He sends it around the boards on the right side. It comes to the right point, taken there by Kudelski. He gets it over to Makela. Makela, left side, puts it behind the Winnipeg net. Ellett with it there. He gets checked, and the puck played now by Winnipeg's McIlwain. His pass up on the left side. It's cleared out to center. Bill Sykes cleared it. Puck comes back down into the Kings zone. 1-0 Winnipeg with 13:36 to go here in the third. Pass by Halkitis, tipped away at the blue line and held in by Kumpel of Winnipeg. He gets it to McIlwain on the right side. Now it comes back behind the King net, played there by McSorley. He's checked by Sykes. McSorley gets it up on the right side to Casper. Now the left side to Kudelski. Now the left side to Makela. His pass across the line, broken up, comes back to center ice, and Benning with it. Benning sends it down the right side into the Winnipeg zone, and Frederick Olesen takes over. Olesen passing out to center, 2-line pass against the Jets as it was played on the other side of the red line by Paul Fenton. 13:07 to go, third period. Jets lead at 1-0. This game coming to you live from the Great Western Forum.
Kings Hockey is brought to you by Great Western's family of companies with over $35 billion in assets. 100 years strong, Great Western. We'll always be there. And by Amtrak with the All Aboard America fares. The best price view you'll ever get of America.
Well, I think from the Kings' standpoint and the coaching standpoint, they're pleased with the way this game has progressed. The Kings, a sound defensive game. A lot of the top scorers are out of the game tonight, so I don't think the lack of offense is really concerning the Kings. I think they're more looking at how the club is playing off each other in the attacking zone, coming back to center ice. Very few breakdowns, as we mentioned, on the part of the Kings tonight. For that matter, the Jets.
Ryan Benning sends it all the way down the Winnipeg zone. Frederick Olesen of Winnipeg back to get it. He moves it up the middle. Here's Ashton on the right wing. Ashton into the King zone. Ashton driving in behind the net. Benning all over him. Knocks him down in the corner. Puck taken by Jay Miller. Miller tried to give it to Allison at center. It rolled away from him. Now it comes over the blue line. Taken there, and the pass is deflected. Casper had Jay Miller coming down the slot but couldn't get it to him. And the Jets clear it out to center. Chased down by Benning. Benning back in the King zone. Benning's pass up on the right side. Taken there by Mike Allison. Here's Allison to the Winnipeg line. Allison across the line, but his pass broken up. Jets come back to center. Here's Howard-Chuck. Howard-Chuck checked by Fraser at center ice. Howard-Chuck gets away from Fraser, has the puck, comes to the King line. Now he's checked there by Allison. Howard-Chuck sends it back behind the King net. Saturday we'll be live on Prime Ticket at 4:30, radio at 10 to 5 on the network, and KLAC 6:30 Saturday. Kings in Vancouver. That's the next game. Now across the line on the left wing side, here's Sandstrom. Winnipeg zone. He shoots and a save by Essenza. Sandstrom with his own rebound. Goes behind the net, sends it to the right side. A pass in front. Out of the reach of Tony Granato. Puck comes back up the center. Winnipeg with it. Here's Howard-Chuck. Couldn't get around at center ice around Fraser. Here is Cantos moving in. He shoots and a save by Essenza. Rebound. Fraser throws it in front. And Cronin and the goaltender fall on it for Winnipeg right in front of the net in the crease. Still 1-0 Jets. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
You know, this celebrity business isn't all it's cracked up to be. Sure, I get to travel all over the country, but I'd rather just hang out and have a Miller Lite with the guys. Have another round of lights? Me and the boys don't want some watered-down version of a regular beer. Hey, thanks. We want the less filling beer that really tastes great. Right, guys? Hey, anybody for a game of pool? All right, well, let's go.
Get the picture? When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great.
Your break, Dad.
A little room, boys.
Jets still up 1-0. Contos going down the left wing, had some speed, holds on to the puck, waiting for the goaltender to make a move, but Essen just stood his ground and lost his balance, but made the save. That's one of the few good scoring opportunities either team has had off a rush through center and into the zone here tonight. Jets up 1-0. Early goal in the game by Pat Ellenuk.
Face-off in the Winnipeg zone. Chris Contos ready for the Kings on the draw, but the face-off is won by Laurie Boschman to Todd Flickle of Winnipeg. Flickle in the corner now, tries to go behind his own net. He's checked from behind by Sandstrom. Puck comes up to Ellenuk. He can't hang on. Granato took it away. Now behind the net, they try to get it to Sandstrom. Sandstrom checked. He lost his stick. And a hard check by Granato, and we've got a penalty here.
They may be getting Tony Granato for taking out one of the Jets on the far side. And this will give the Jets a power play if Granato's the only one to go. I think it's Ellenuk that got interfered with or dumped along the boards, and he's going to skate off. Penalty here at 8:48 of the third period. Charging is the call on Tony Granato. We'll get a look at it. It's going to be at the top of the screen. There you see Ellenuk, and right there, hit from behind, facing the boards, charging. But when a player is in that type of position along the boards, facing the board, usually they're going to call the penalty. But right there, charging is the call.
So Tom Webster sends his penalty killers out. The Kings still trailing 1-0. We have 11-12 to go, third period.
Well, neither team has had a lot of good power play pressure on the other. Good penalty killing here tonight. Jets, although the only goal they scored, the only goal in the game was a power play goal, but other than that, not a lot of good power play opportunities for either team.
Kings unbeaten in their last 3 and 7 of their last 9, but they're trailing here with half of the third period gone. Puck taken by the Jets on the power play for another minute 40. Pass up on the right wing to Ashton. He tips it into the Kings zone. Bob Halkitis with it. He cleared it up ahead toward the blue line. Then it bounced off of Casper in deep in the Kings zone over to Halkitis, and Halkitis this time drives it the length of the ice. McDermott back to get it for Winnipeg. 1:20 left to go in the power play for the Jets. 1-0 Winnipeg. They're going to finish third in the Smythe division. Here's Ashton down the middle. In front, and a shot, and a save by Goslin.
I think Ashton's intent was to try and control the puck and just flip it on the right to McDermott, who was right with him. But Ashton was going so quick that he just couldn't control himself or the puck. But Goslin came out and made the save. A nice lead pass by Ellett to Ashton, and boom, it's a quick 2-on-1 when Ashton gets around Halkitis, but then he tried to flip it off on his right, and McDermott couldn't reach it before Goslin speared it. Ashton right here is held up on the play, and he's starting to lose his balance, and he couldn't make the play, and then a stick check by Goslin, and he reaches up as it goes to his left. Good play by Goslin. Watch the poke check as well. Ashton with it right there. The poke check and the glove save. Boy, nice play by Goslin.
He doesn't make that glove save. McDermott has a gimme. I think it bounces down right in front of what would be an open net. Puck taken by the Jets again on the power play. Howardchuk, right side. Howardchuk's pass to the top of the right circle to Ellett. Back to Howardchuk. Howardchuk checked along the boards by Duchesne. Ellett digs it out for the Jets. His pass down the corner. Now Howardchuk along the right wing boards. Taken away and cleared by the King Steve Duchesne into the Winnipeg zone with 43 seconds left to go in the King penalty to Tony Granato. 9:51 to go, third period. Kings down 1-0. Jets with it. Paslowski on the right side. He gives it to Howardchuk. King zone. He shoots. It's blocked. Blocked by Halkitis. And the Kings had it for a moment, then lost it. Now the Jets with it. Here's Dave Ellett. Ellett at the blue line. Ellett's pass over on the left corner, taken away by Rob Blake of the Kings. Blake to Kruzhelniski. Kruzhelniski sends it back to Blake behind the King net. His pass broken up. Held in by Olesen for Winnipeg. He gets it off on the left side now on the power play, then gets it back again. Olesen at the blue line. Olesen with it. Pass down in deep, and sliding across is Halkitis to break it up. and he hangs onto it with 3 seconds to go in the power play.
Well, the Jets are moving it around, but they're still waiting for that real good scoring chance after getting the power play set up. Alcides blocking that pass. Open on the near side was Laurie Boschman, and then Alcides was able to get the whistle from Terry Gregson. The Jets will change it up. Bob Murdoch's power play, unable to get much pressure on Mario Goslin. Just the one shot by Ashton as they came through center ice earlier with a man advantage.
Face off to the right of Mario Goslin. He's made some outstanding saves at point-blank range tonight. And former King Phil Sykes out on the ice. They're still watching us way up there in British Columbia, where Phil is from.
Dawson Creek.
Face off now, Casper for the Kings. Some of the young King fans here decked out in their King sweatshirts. And off the draw, loose puck in the face-off circle, and it rolls off the stick of Sykes. Goslin came out and tried to poke it away, but the Kings have it anyway. Here's Allison clearing it out to center. Kings are back at full strength. Here's Phil Sykes for Winnipeg. He drives it into the right corner to Kumpel. Kumpel in the King zone. He's checked along the boards. Kings dig it out. Here is Casper. Up the center to Mike Allison. Allison, he gets to the Robitaille. Robitaille across the line. He's checked there, and Sykes dug it out. He clears to the center. Kings take it away again. 8:44 to go in the third period. Kings are down 1-0. Loose puck at the red line. Bukestad trying to get to it. Now it's right in front of the Winnipeg bench. It rolls off the stick of Todd Ellick. Jets with it. Newman, and he gives it away to Duchesne. Duchesne for the Kings to Ellick. Todd Ellick, right side to Robitaille. Back to Ellick. Tipped out to the left point. Held in by Fraser. Fraser waits. Steps around Kumpel, and Fraser got rocked by Kumpel's stick.
And he's going to get a penalty. He might be calling it spearing.
Probably slashing, I think. But down to the ice went Fraser. He gets up now. Looks like he got hit on the hand.
Kumpel was going down to block the would-be shot from Fraser, and then he knew he was beat, so he just kind of reached around with his stick. And we'll be back with the Kings power play. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Yea, there comes a time in the life of a man and a woman when they must assume the responsibilities of adulthood and leave behind those toys of youth, which though they may run it fast and give pleasure to the soul, yet leave no room for family.
The Mitsubishi Galant Sports Sedan. It's not only fast and gives pleasure to the soul, it leaves plenty of room for family. Yay.
Remember, $1,000 incentives at your Southern California Mitsubishi Motors dealer now.
Mark Kumpel is getting 5 minutes for slashing, and the automatic game misconduct will probably deem that, well, I don't know. I was going to say accidental, which means it doesn't go against him, but Fraser is hurt. He's hurt his left hand, and Kumpel, number 21, will go down the corridor, done for the evening. So here's a great chance for the Kings to not only tie it, but get a lead. A 5-minute power play. Fraser fakes the shot, down goes Kumpel, and Kumpel just kind of reaches around and slashes Fraser. That was the only play that Kumpel had. He had no idea where he was going to hit Fraser because he just kind of whipped that stick around blindly. And now the referee and the linesman explaining the call to Bob Murdoch, the coach of the Winnipeg Jets. Well, from the standpoint that he just blindly whipped the stick around, you'd say accidental, but his intent was to try and hauled Fraser with the only way he could, and that was with the stick. Another look. Fraser fakes. Now watch Kumpel. He's down and out. He just whips the stick around. He doesn't know where it's going to hit Fraser. It hit him on the left hand. Peter's power hand as he moved in for a shot. And Fraser getting attended to on the Kings bench. Power play for the Kings for 5 minutes.
Well, the intent of that rule is that players have a better regard for their stick and not use it in a flagrant manner. And whether it was intentional or not, I think that's what Terry Gregson ruled, that he knew Fraser was there, and Kumpel just swept around with that stick, so he got the 5-minute major. Now, the Kings are 0 for 6 on the power play tonight, but now they get a great opportunity. They've had 5 shots on the 6 power play. Kings with it. Can score as many times as possible on this power play. Casper up the middle of Robitaille, and a save by Essenza. And that number 50 is still elusive for Luc Robitaille.
Essenza just standing there, and Robitaille tried to one-time it. Looked like he tried to go upper right corner, glove hand side. Kings working down low. Casper to Robitaille, and a chest save is made by Essenza, and he falls on the rebound. A second look from behind Essenza. Puck in front, boom. The pass goes right between the legs of Flickel, the defenseman, and actually just hits the goaltender. I don't think he saw it.
Face off to the left side of Essenza. Kings down 1-0, but they got a major power play here for another 4:49. Duchesne with a shot. Knocked down in front by Ellett, and he clears it for Winnipeg. Kings trying to win for the 22nd time at home. This is the final home game of the regular season. Kings start back out of their own zone now. Down by a goal, but they got 4.5 minutes to work with a man advantage. Here's Casper in the Winnipeg zone, but his pass taken away by Fenton. And he clears it quickly for Winnipeg. Steve Duchesne back to get it. Duchesne back behind the King net. Can the Kings come back for the second night on Winnipeg? They did it last Tuesday with 4 in the third. Here in the right wing is Ellett cutting in. He shoots and a save, and the net is knocked loose. No goal.
Yeah, I think the net was clearly off before the puck went in. Kings are complaining, but a good call.
Still 1-0 Winnipeg. We'll pause for station identification. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Travel for tonight's telecast arranged through U.S. Air, whose frequent traveler program makes it easy to earn free domestic and international travel awards. U.S. Air, America's most frequent flyer.
Bob Essenza facing some chances here. The Jets are trying to kill off this 5-minute penalty. A look at this play. The backhander attempt. The save is made, and then Ellett goes into the post, and then the puck goes in the net. But clearly the puck was dislodged before the shot was taken. Ellett on the backhand, shifts the forehand, a quick shot, net is off, and the puck then goes in. So it was off by a good 3 or 4 feet before it went in.
Now the Kings with it, Winnipeg zone. Left point, Halkitis. Halkitis with it with 4 minutes to go on the power play. Behind the net, Condos tried to chip it in over the net, and Essenza, how'd he stop that one? Did he back? He may have backed into the crossbar and deflected it.
Either that or one of the defensemen pinned it on the back of his jersey. That was interesting. Boy, a save with his back.
Nick,
Bob Essenza.
Nick, that's the only place Condos hasn't scored from is behind the net.
Exactly right. Watch it. It deflects up. It's going to go up on top of the net. On the back side, it's
on his shoulder.
Right on the back of his neck, top of his back. Look at this. Another angle. This should be a good one. The puck is going to be deflected up. Watch the white stripe on the back of his jersey. That's where the puck is sitting, right there above the 3 and the 5. And he got some help from Cronin.
Now play underway again with the Kings still on the major power play, but the Jets have in their own zone, and it is cleared by Sean Cronin. Back behind the King net. So Bob Essenza, who made some great stops in the first period, makes one with his shoulder here. Puck taken by the Kings. They're starting out. Here's Thomas Sandstrom. Sandstrom with the red line. Slaps it in the Winnipeg zone. Puck comes around the right side to Tony Granato. Granato stopped along the right wing boards. Puck bounces into the slot, and the Winnipeg Jets have time to clear it. Teppo Numminen clears it to center and down into the Kings zone. 3:20 left to go in this King power play. It's a 5-minute major power play, and the Kings are down 1-0. They need some goals here with a man advantage. We're down to 6.5 minutes to go in the third period. Pass on the right side to Granato. Granato checked by Olesen. Here's Contos in. Contos gives it behind the net to Sandstrom. Sandstrom, Winnipeg zone. Out to the blue line to McSorley. McSorley waits. Now McSorley gives it to Sandstrom. Back to McSorley. Over to Halkitis. Halkitis fakes a shot. Then flips it up out of play. It's deflected into the crowd.
Evans came up to meet Halkitis, pressured him, and Halkitis then tried to flip it off the near boards, but it was deflected out of play. Kings had a couple of chances early on this major power play. Robitaille with the best chance. Duchesne from high on the slot. But things have cooled off right now with 2:43 left on the major power play. Washington tied Philadelphia tonight at 2. New Jersey beat the Rangers 6-4. St. Louis edged Pittsburgh 5-4. Buffalo defeated Minnesota 4-2. Boston shades Hartford 3-2. Chicago over Toronto 4-2. Montreal wins at Quebec 5-2.
Now the Kings. Duchesne shot from the slot, deflected over to the left side, and Bob Kudelski went for it. He didn't get it. Comes out to Duchesne to the left point. Duchesne to the right point. To Blake. Back to Duchesne. Duchesne left side to Bob Kudelski. Winnipeg zone. Kudelski, top of the slot, or top of the circle. Now to Duchesne, he shoots, and a save by Essenza, and he covers up again in front of the net.
Well, a nice job by the Kings. I think it was Mike Kruzhelnicki providing the screen, and the shot was taken, and I don't think Essenza saw this shot. Watch Kudelski right in front with Olesen. He's looking around the goaltender. Boom, it hits him, and he says, oh, holy cow, I better react. But a good screen by Mike Kruzhelnicki.
2:21 left to go in the major power play for the Kings, and they're still trailing 1-0. Now they put 10 seconds back, so 2:31 left on the penalty. Apparently 10 seconds, penalty clock was off by 10, so it's 2:31 left now. So the Kings having trouble on the power play tonight. Faceoff will be to the right of Bob Essenza. Mike Kruzhelnicki will take the draw for the Kings. He's got Mikko Makela up front with him, along with Bob Kudelski. Rob Blake at the right point, Steve Duchesne at the left point. And the faceoff, won by McElwain for Winnipeg, but it comes out to the left point, held in by Duchesne. Duchesne for the Kings, to Kruzhelnicki, now to Kudelski, up the middle, Duchesne, he shoots, stick save, rebound, Jets with it. Then they clear it and comes to the left point, held in by Duchesne. Now to Kruzhelnicki. Kruzhelnicki, top of the circle, he gets knocked down, puck comes to Duchesne. Duchesne shoots wide, rebound off the boards, out to Rob Blake. Blake at the right point. He tried to give it to Kruzhelnicki, tipped away. Blake again at the right point, down on one knee, holds it in play. Now it deflects out to center ice. Duchesne back to get it. Now we're down to 1:58 to go on this power play. Puck is taken to the red line by Duchesne. He gives it off on the right side to Makela. Makela to Kudelski. Kudelski along the right wing boards. Kudelski back to Mikko Makela. Makela right side into Kruzhelnicki. He tipped it toward Kudelski. Kudelski behind the Winnipeg net. His pass, Kruzhelnicki over on the right side to Makela. Makela gives it to Duchesne. He shoots, and a save by Essenza. Down on his knees, and he made the save.
Duchesne didn't have time to wind it up, crank it up, because he was being pressured, but he turned and got a wrist shot away. Duchesne with 4 shots here on this power play, which is down to 1:36 left. Watch Makela. He's going to set up Duchesne, who moves in between the hash marks, but he's got to get it away quickly because a defender is going down in front of him, and Essenza just stood his ground. A look behind Bob Essenza. He sees this shot from Duchesne, makes the save, and covers up on the rebound. The Kings getting some shots. I have them with 6 shots on this particular power play, and they've had it for about 3.5 minutes.
Well, they've had 12 shots in the period, but still have not been able to get on the board. Steve Kasper out for the Kings. He'll take the face-off in the Winnipeg zone. 1:36 left to go on this power play. Kasper ready on the draw, wins the draw, back to Halkitis at the left point. Halkitis to McSorley at the right point. McSorley's shot high and off the net, or off the glass, played up on the left side now to the blue line to Halkitis. Halkitis gives it to Todd Ellick. Ellick's pass along the board, back to Halkitis. He shoots, and a save by Essenza. Rebound right side, taken by McSorley. Puts it behind the net to Todd Ellick. It rolls away from him, and now it's cleared by Sean Cronin of Winnipeg. 1:12 left to go on this 5-minute power play for the Kings, and they have been unable to score. Puck taken by Bob Halkitis. Up to center. He gives it over to Todd Ellick. Ellick across the line to Robitaille. Left side. Can't get the shot. Kasper's shot. Hit escape. Comes off on the right side to Ellick. To the blue line to McSorley. He's got time. He shoots. It's deflected in front. Kasper can't get it. It hit Robitaille. He went down. Puck is taken by the Jets. And Numminen clears it to center to Sykes. Here's Phil Sykes. Back to Numminen. King zone. Numminen. His pass in front. Broken up. He got it back again. Poked away by Gosling. Into the corner. McSorley goes for it there. He's checked by Sykes. Puck taken by the Kings. 30 seconds to go in this power play. Up to center. Here's Todd Ellick. Ellick with it. Ellick checked at center ice. Comes over in front of the Winnipeg bench. Now sends it down the left side behind the Winnipeg net. 20 seconds to go in the power play. Jets clear it out to center. Taken by the Kings, Steve Duchesne. Duchesne's pass over to Benning. Benning down the right side. Benning into the Winnipeg zone. Benning cutting in deep, goes behind the net. Benning still with it there. He kicks it over to Condos. Condos put it behind the net, and Robitaille couldn't handle it. Jets clear it, and they're going to kill this 5-minute power play. They're back at full strength. King shots 0 for 7 on the power play tonight, and trailing 1-0. At center ice, here's Sandstrom. He stopped there. Puck taken by Dave McElwain of Winnipeg. McElwain checked as he comes back into his own zone.
They had 6 shots the Kings did on that power play, 4 by Duchesne, and one of those was a good chance.
Now Dave Ellett, left side, his shot is wide. Rebound around to the right point, comes out to center ice. 2:55 to go in regulation. Kings are down 1-0. They've been shut out twice this year, both by Calgary, both by Rick Wamsley. Puck comes back behind the Winnipeg net. Played there by Dave Ellett. Ellett for Winnipeg. His pass to center, taken away at the King blue line by Bob Halkitis. Halkitis gets it over to Marty McSorley. Here's McSorley getting it back over on the left side to Granato. Granato in the Winnipeg zone. Granato driving, but Newman takes him into the boards on the left side. Granato checked there. Into the corner comes Sandstrom to help out. Ashton is there. Puck comes back behind the Winnipeg net. Taken there by Dave Ellett. Ellett tried to clear it. It deflected back behind the Winnipeg net again. There are 2 broken sticks there on the ice. Puck comes up on the right side and cleared to center ice by Teppo Newman. Get an icing call against the Jets here as McSorley goes back to touch it. So 2:10 remaining.
Every time you fill up with 8 gallons or more of Mobil Super Unleaded Plus.
Jets 1, Kings nothing. The Jets penalty killers held off the Kings when Kumpel was off for 5 minutes and slashing. And Bob Essenza came up with 2 big stops, one on Duchesne and one on Robitaille when they were killing that penalty. He was strong in the first period when the Kings outchanced Winnipeg 6-2. He is 2-0 this year against the Kings. He was a star in the previous 2 games, and he's one of them here tonight so far. 1-0 Jets, 2:10 left to play in the third.
Now off the face-off, the puck comes back behind the Winnipeg net. Now on the left side, here's Kruzhelnyski. He sends it around the right side to Bob Kudelski. Winnipeg zone. Now back behind the net again, Mikko Makula there. He's wrapped up by Newmanen. Kruzhelnyski comes by and tries to get it. He sends it up the middle, but it's intercepted by Pazlowski. Pazlowski's pass deflected by Kudelski, but Pazlowski with it again, and now he clears it to Holarchuk. Tipped away at the blue line by Rob Blake. Kruzhelnyski, his shot deflects in front of the net, and a backhander by Kudelski. And
they may be getting a penalty. Cronin for closing his hand on the puck. He took the puck out of midair with his left glove, I believe, and he may be getting a penalty for closing his hand on the puck. I think that's the call, and Cronin's going to go to the penalty box. And the Kings, 0 for 7 on the power play, get another man advantage. Puck, the shot deflected up. Watch Cronin. He gloves it, puts it into his chest, then drops it in front. You can't do that. You can bat it down, but you can't intentionally close your hand on the puck, and that's what Cronin did. And the Kings will go on the power play. 18-19 is the time of the penalty. 8 power play for the Kings.
Well, they've certainly had their chances tonight, but so far unable to score. 1-0 Winnipeg. We have 1:41 left in regulation.
Well, now is a great time for Luke to get number 50. Be a big goal in the game, needless to say, and a big goal for Luke personally. He is out there. Kings, 11 total shots on 7 power plays, including 6 when they had the major power play a few moments ago.
Face off in the Winnipeg zone. It comes from Casper to Duchesne to McSorley, back to Casper to McSorley, right point. McSorley's pass in the corner to Sandstrom. Sandstrom with it. 1.5 minutes to go. To the blue line. McSorley with a drive. Save. Rebound. And Robitaille got his stick on it, but not a hard shot. He was being checked at the time by Smale, and Essenza made the save. So Robitaille didn't get good wood on that.
McSorley's shot comes through. Pad save is made. And then Donnelly tied up Robitaille, and the puck just squirted free. Falling to his right was Bob Essenza. The Kings have pulled the goaltender now with 1:28 left. They have the power play, so in essence it's a 2-man advantage, a 6-on-4 skating advantage. So Goslin is out with 1:28 left.
Kings trying to tie it up here late in the third period. Steve Casper out to take the draw. Mario Goslin sitting down over on the bench. He's given up only 1 goal in the game, and yet the Kings are trailing 1-0, and that was a power play goal in the first period by Pat Hellenuck of Winnipeg. Kings win the draw. Left side, here's Duchesne. Duchesne to McSorley to the right point. Back to Duchesne. Duchesne sends it left side to Casper. His pass broken up. It's held in, though. On the left wing side, here's Granato for the Kings. His pass to Casper. Casper along the board, sends it in behind the net. Robitaille chasing it there. Robitaille in the corner. Ashton took it away. He can't clear it. McSorley holds it in to the right point. He gets it on the right side to Granato. Over to Casper. Shoots, and a save by Essenza. Puck taken by the Kings again. Left wing corner. Now on the blue line, here's Duchesne. He shoots. Blocked in front. Less than a minute to go in regulation. puck comes along the right wing board. Taken there by Robitaille. He kicks it in behind the net. Broken up, but not cleared. Here's Sandstrom, right side. His pass in front, backhanded by Casper, and a save by Essenza. And the net gets dislodged by Robitaille.
Now Fenton pushing and shoving with a couple of the Kings. Thomas Sandstrom with the facial protection. But I think things have calmed down right now. Ashton is in there for the Jets as well. Thomas, I think earlier on the homestand, went without that full facial protection, but apparently wanted it. Didn't want to re-injure himself. He does have problems picking up the puck when it's in tight to him along the skates. Very cumbersome device there. Sandstrom missing 5 games when he was hit in that brawl game with Edmonton. The backhander in front by Casper. A save off a deflection. Went off the outside of Granato's leg, and the save was made. And Robitaille, driving for the front of the net, dislodged it. Kings 16 shots in the third period, a lot of them on the power play. They outshot Winnipeg in the first period 11-4, and now have outshot the Jets 30-19 for the game.
Faceoff will be to the left of Bob Essenza. 43 seconds remaining in regulation. 1-0 Winnipeg. Kings on the power play for the remainder of the period unless they score. And now McSorley at the right point. McSorley to Duchesne. Back to McSorley. McSorley sends it down the right side. Now a pass in front to Granato. It's tipped away. Granato with it again. He sends it down behind the net to Sandstrom. Net is dislodged. Dave Ellitt's going to claim that the Kings dislodged it. 29 seconds remaining in regulation. From behind the net, we see Sandstrom coming by. Now, as he was checked by Essenza, I looked, Essenza's leg knocked it off. So Sandstrom did not knock the puck loose. Well, Bob Essenza, out of Michigan State University. Oh, in the first period, Kings had 11 shots, only 4 for Winnipeg, and Essenza made some outstanding saves. Now with 29 seconds left in regulation, Kings trying to tie it up. Casper wins the draw. Duchesne to the left point. Duchesne to McSorley, right point. He shoots, deflected off the boards. Puck comes back out to the left point. Duchesne couldn't hold it in. Out the center it comes, taken away by McSorley. 15 seconds to go in regulation. Here in the slot is Granato. Back to the right point to McSorley. McSorley's pass broken up by Newman. He can't clear it. McSorley holds it in, but then it's taken away by McElwain. He shoots at the empty net. He missed it, but time's going to run out. The game is over, and the Kings have been shut out. The Kings give up only 1 goal, but Bob Essenza and the Winnipeg Jets give up none. The Kings outshoot Winnipeg 30-19, but can't score a goal. And the Winnipeg Jets are victorious here tonight at the Great Western 1-0. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Get out of here!
We're back at the Great Western Forum, where the Winnipeg Jets have shut out the Los Angeles Kings 1-0. No scoring in the third period. The Kings outshot Winnipeg 16-6 in that third period.